all forms of terrorism. We pray for peace and will stand against evil and hate. Please join us in a moment of silence.
I have to assume the moment of silence is over here.
I guess, yeah, that was
Pretty badly done, actually, but
well, here we are. We are the CRM Playaz, and we're back for another watch party. This time next week, in Vegas.
yeah, you're there. I'm not. That's like I'm Chevy Chase and you're not.
Yeah, just like that. Anyway, yeah, so I'm here, and we decided, hey, why not do a watch party? We have some folks, some of our friends that will be joining us, and we'll see what Evan Goldberg has to say. This year anniversary of them founding. It'd be interesting.
You know, it's interesting that they were actually the first to the cloud, not Salesforce. 1999 with NetLedger. I mean, it's by a few months, but that was also the year Salesforce was released.
Yeah, there's NetSuite, SalesNet, and Salesforce. Well, there's another one too.
I'm really not. I mean, I like contemporary dance a lot, but I'm really not sure what we're watching here.
Is this like the modern day version of the river dance?
Well, I mean, I don't know who this is, but I mean, I hate to. I'm not trying to be mean here, but I'm not 100% certain this would get past the audition in America's Got Talent.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I really like contemporary dance. I do. I like a lot, actually.
It's better if you're actually there.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'm usually watching AGT on television.
That's a nice little setup there, like a circular.
Yeah.
I like that. Like a Dreamforce-esque.
Or maybe this is the purpose. Together, let's what?
Well, maybe.
Please
Together,
welcome
let's Evan
new
Goldberg.
VP of Oracle
Let's clap for
NetSuite,
Evan Goldberg.
Evan GPT.
GPT. All right.
Oh, wow.
Domo
Hello,
arigato.
I'm Evan GPT.
Oh.
Welcome to SuiteWorld 2023, including all of you joining us on air. I'd like to give a big thank you to our sponsors, including our Liquid Mercury sponsor Salesforce.
Wait,
What?
Stop,
Yeah.
stop, 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 stop.
Oh, I get it.
Hallucinating again.
Hallucinations.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ha ha.
I guess I'm gonna have to do it one more year. All right, turn it off. We'll go with the
Sorry,
real
wait,
Evan.
just
Oh.
sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
wine mom. What's up?
Some
Mom.
things never change,
Great, yeah,
honey.
okay,
Oh my
okay.
God.
She looks younger than him.
Run out without
That's-
your jacket
that's
on.
Who is that?
Let me see.
I don't know.
Make sure.
This is just like 2015.
I know, exactly.
The year of the-
Wife.
Oh, that's so sweet. The year of the wardrobe malfunction. All right. Whew, okay. Let me get my bearings here.
Probably a
actually want
good
to start
idea.
by thanking all the real sponsors that you can visit on the expo floor. These are
Had a
incredible
rough start.
companies, the
Yeah.
power of the NetSuite ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Kind
also
of
to our diamond sponsors,
awkward comedy.
Sligo,
Yeah.
New genre.
Flowcast, and our global impact sponsor, Deloitte Digital. There's a D&I keynote tomorrow. Please attend. It's going to be great stuff. And our titanium sponsor, Avalara. I've been working with them for years.
They get their
on
naming
tax. It's
conventions
incredible. You're going to be hearing
after
from
Ray.
them later.
Titanium.
So indeed, we're celebrating 25 years with phenomenal businesses like yours. And we've been
Wait a
so
minute.
excited to participate in your growth.
Didn't it say
journey.
1999 Net Ledger founded?
Here, you can
Yeah,
see
25 years.
some of the founders.
Isn't this
of
2023?
NetSuite, back when it was NetLedger, 1998.
Oh,
Outside
all right,
the
98. So
store
they had it
next to the
wrong
apartment
on their
where we
own
wrote those
slide.
first lines of code.
Right.
The team recently got back together. It's now a wine store. They've classed up the joint.
That's cool.
Look
They
at
all
us.
got back together.
We're basically the same. Actually, I think we're improved a little bit. So we thought we're so excited about the next 25
actually, it
years.
kinda
We
looks
thought
the
we'd
same.
use
That's
AI
amazing.
to take a look at what
Yes.
things may look like 25 years from now. As you can see, technology has de-aged us. 90s fashion is back in, and science has finally solved that scourge of the human race, male pattern baldness. All right, so think back on 1998 for those of you that were there. It was the year of the Beanie Baby, the slap bracelet, the Macarena, In Sync, frosted tips, and remember prepping for Y2K. The BlackBerry was still a year away.
Just,
The iPhone was
just
9
watched
years
that movie
away.
on the airport.
And Taylor Swift,
Which one?
Travis Kelce,
About
were
as a
8
movie
years away.
about the founding and the fall of the
But
BlackBerry.
what happened in 1998 had a
Any good?
tremendous
It
impact
was
on
really
the next 25 years. It was the advent of the cloud. And over the last 25
They were an
years, one
interesting
thing has
company.
been constant.
Certainly
We
had
give you immediate
an
access
important
to the newest
place in the
technology
history of all this, but
using the
boy,
cloud. It allows us to
they got
deliver
clueless
innovations quickly and give you
after a
access
while.
to those innovations anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
All
movie showed it.
37,000 plus
yeah, I had
of you
direct
are running on
experience
the
with it
same version of NetSuite with the latest updates.
with one of the
We were
CEOs
the first company
when
to
they
do
had the
to do that,
co-CEOs.
even before our Liquid Mercury sponsor, Salesforce. And unlike then, it's now taken for granted. And we're, of course, still cloud native. But what that means has changed. We've gone from dial-up to broadband. We've gone from running in a closet in the apartment next to the liquor store to running on Oracle's Gen 2 cloud, the fastest growing cloud with the best security, cutting edge autonomous database, and the most sophisticated AI anywhere. In fact, by the end of the year, all of you, all NetSuite customers will be running on this infrastructure. OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, has data centers around the world.
Interesting, there's nothing in New York
security,
there.
reliability, and performance. And through NetSuite, we're delivering that to you.
Wonder why.
Now, beyond the cloud, there have been many, many breakthroughs in technology, and we've helped you adapt to those in the last 25 years. Mobile, Internet of Things, and now AI. Our missions remain the same, however. A unified suite of applications that you can rely on as you grow. Now, we've built and acquired dozens of new capabilities to enhance the suite over those 25 years. It started in the early 2000s with Suite Commerce, so you could open new revenue streams. In 2008, we added OneWorld to help you expand internationally and deal with multiple subsidiaries. In 2014, we added Suite People to help improve the managing of your teams. In 2019, we took some great Oracle functionality and delivered NetSuite planning and budgeting to help you scale your financial operations, and we also added WMS to optimize and automate the warehouse. A couple years ago, we added NetSuite Analytics Warehouse to help you manage the exploding streams of data. And then last year, here at SuiteWorld, we introduced CPQ and Workforce Management. So that brings us to today. All 37,000 of you are using these capabilities to automate complex processes.
They even had that,
in every
they had
part of your
partnerships with
business,
Apple.
making the
They had
whole
hardware
organization
that
work better
the
together with
NetSuite built
one
into
unified view of
appliances.
data,
They were
allowing you to
they're
get
pretty
insight,
visionary company in
control,
their
increase
time,
agility, foster collaboration, and fuel productivity.
or cutting
Bottom
edge,
line,
probably a better way.
you're doing more with less. And this is arguably more important than ever. Whether you're a startup or an enterprise, a family-owned business or a founder-run business, there's more pressure to tighten your belt, to conserve cash. There's high interest rates. There's tighter access to capital. Everybody feels that pressure to run more efficiently. And everyone
You know
wants to
what? It'd be
accomplish
interesting
more,
to hear
yet
companies
spend
talk
less.
about doing
Less
more
money,
with more,
less time,
because
with fewer
they've
mistakes,
got more data than
and
they've
less
ever
frustration.
had.
Yeah.
And I know
We're really proud of our
focus
history.
is always
but
on
we're
the
even more
efficiency
excited
play, but
about the next 25 years. Of
it's
course,
time to talk about
we're going
more.
to keep doing what we're doing.
More.
We're going to deliver even more insights, more control,
Well,
more agility, more
well,
collaboration.
there he is.
What we're going to talk a lot about
I
today,
spoke too soon.
more productivity.
No, actually, he's still
Technology
trying to
do
say with
that
less, but
is AI.
you're right.
And
You're
the
right.
breakthroughs that we've seen
They have
recently
more they
make
need
it
to
seem like
deal
this
with.
time is as revolutionary
Wow, that was a
as that
janky
time
little.
25 years ago
Must have been a
when we
blip in the
introduced the
video
cloud.
or something.
Yeah.
To us, AI appears to be a quantum leap to doing more with less. Now, at
But that,
SuiteWorld
if you
over the
remember,
past
that
few
was
years,
his
we've
theme at
showed
Cloud
how we've
World
been building
too. You have to be
traditional
willing
AI
to.
into
You have to
NetSuite.
be willing
We have
to have it
intelligent risk
cost you
predictions
less.
in the supply chain
Right.
control tower. We have
Less
intelligent
seems to be
product
the thing
recommendations
with Oracle
in
these days.
CIM,
So
CRM.
it's wow,
But
that
the AI
video is
breakthroughs
really
are coming
jumping all
so
around.
fast, we have lots more to talk
Seems
about
okay
today.
to
But
me.
the good news is
A whole lot
a
of
unified
jumping around.
suite allows you to get the most out of AI.
Might
So
be
we
the
have a big
bandwidth in your
vision
room.
for the quantum leaps of AI that's going to come later. But we're also going to
Maybe
see
it's the camera cut.
AI woven through the new features we're announcing today. And these features will allow you to achieve more while spending less in both your core
Yeah,
financial
the
foundations,
cuts
the
are
foundations
very
of every
hard
business,
jumps.
and also they are
They
fundamentally
are hard
empowering
jumps.
your
Yeah,
growth,
like
Yeah,
that one.
selling and delivering
I think
more
that's what it
products
is. His
and
camera
services
cuts are
faster
really,
to
Wow,
acquire
really
customers,
hard.
but
They're
all
not-
the time
they're not doing a
managing
good
your
job with
cash
that.
and ultimately making your business more productive, especially if you use these features together.
Ooh.
So that's why the
Why do they
theme
call
of
it
this year's
quantum
SuiteWorld
leaps?
is Suite Up. Now, what is Suite Up? It's continuing to automate, connecting more of your business, bringing additional functions into the suite for better insights and better efficiency. It's maybe no surprise that suiting up is actually correlated with growth. We're going to talk about actual data that we have about that. But really, the fastest companies using that suite are using more of the suite. And that's probably because as you grow, your complex processes get even more complex. You have more of them.
The thing they
more
do, which I
areas,
always find kind of
and
interesting in
it's
terms of their
even more
marketing,
important
their
that
output,
everything works
is
together.
I hear
That's
them,
what
for example,
we're all about.
advertising a lot
Let's
on
take a look at that data.
Sirius XM radio,
So the
on the
average
sports
customer who uses
stations a lot,
NetSuite's
actually,
NetSuite
on
planning and budgeting is
WFAN
growing
here
their
and there.
sales
I mean, they
transactions
do a lot of
almost
like
3
radio
times
ads, like
faster
traditional
than other
ads,
customers.
but there's impact to
Customers
the
using
ad.
our new
It's
NetSuite account
very, it's
reconciliation
noticeable
solution, we're going to talk about
what
that
they're
soon,
talking
are
about,
growing
and
more
they're
than
appealing
3
there to more
times
small business
faster.
people.
And then there's more industry-specific statistics.
Which makes
Manufacturers using configure price quote, 50% faster they're growing their sales transactions. Software companies using suite billing, 70% faster. It does seem that the more you use, the more you grow. And today, we're going to show enhancements and features to help you keep pace with your growth and find ways to do more and spend less. Now, let's see how that plays out. First, how you can achieve efficiencies in your core financials. So when NetSuite started 25 years ago, financials was the foundation. That's why we were called NetLedger, and it still is. And it's the foundation of your business or your organization. It's how you manage cash. It's how you pay or get paid. It's how you compensate employees. It's how you reimburse your expenses.
There he is.
It's how you reconcile your accounts,
Mr. Brian
close your
Stumble.
books, and report on your financial performance. And when you grow, you need more insights. You need more control. You need more productivity. And yet, there's a proliferation of systems.
Hey, Brian,
There's
how
more
you
manual
doing, man?
processes that are holding your business back.
I'm getting my debits and
Modern
credits in order for
financial
this part of the
departments,
talk.
finance departments in a fast-growing company have an explosion of processes
Doing
and
fine.
demands. It's hard to keep up. And that's especially true when you have disconnected systems. You need to gather, combine, and harmonize all the data
Hold on just a
for
second.
close,
All
for
right,
reporting,
take time.
and for modeling. The good news is our job at NetSuite is to untangle that mess. The enhancements you see today are going to ripple across your finance operations, giving you more automation, more control, more efficiency, allowing you to accomplish more and spend less. Now, over the past couple years, we've been building a series of solutions intended to help finance organizations manage the overall business better. Today, we're bringing those technologies together under the category EPM, Enterprise Performance Management. These are enterprise-grade solutions from Oracle, adapted to make them seamless extensions of NetSuite. And these cover planning, financial close.
So is that,
and
this is
enhanced
an
reporting.
actual
So,
question for me. Is that further
the
integration with
basically the enhanced
Oracle,
planning is going to simplify
or is that
financial close.
them adapting a
Planning is
version
gonna
of it
be
for
amazing. You already have
NetSuite?
it. NetSuite planning and budgeting.
It sounded like further
Then we're
integration.
going to enhance and simplify your financial close, and then use together.
By the way, you
this is
notice
gonna
the
power
redwood
reporting
the slides?
that uses data across your business
Oh,
to improve your decision.
Redwood
So
is
let's start
ubiquitous in
with NetSuite
DNA
planning and
level
budgeting.
at
As I
this
said, this
point.
has been out
Yeah.
for a couple of years.
That's
It's one of the most
one of the
popular
best things they've
modules
done in years.
NetSuite. And we showed how organizations that suite up and use NetSuite planning and budgeting
Suite up.
are growing almost 3 times faster.
Don't know about that
You
one.
can still buy NetSuite planning and budgeting as an individual module, but we're going to talk about how there's
So
an
there are two
opportunity
big
to use
things here.
additional
Turn it up a little,
modules in
Brian. A
conjunction
little bit
with
higher.
NetSuite planning and
Everybody
budgeting to
wants
supercharge your finance
a
operations and
better,
strengthen
like,
the
machine
financial
learning and
foundations
AI-powered kind
of your business.
planning and budgeting
Now,
tool
for
to
NSPB
get
itself,
better
we
accuracy
continue
or
to enhance it.
predictability on the results.
Louder,
Now,
louder,
like all of the
louder, louder.
modules that EPM
Barely hear you there,
NSPB
Brian.
draws
Yeah, turn it
connections
up a little
across your
louder.
business. So when you're making a financial plan, it
Hard to hear
considers
you.
orders, customers,
And then start
people,
again, by the way,
supply
just
chain,
so people can hear
manufacturing,
it.
projects. Everything is connected and informing the planning process. When your headcount changes or your sales plan changes, that feeds into the financial plan. If you forecast growth in a particular product line, that feeds into your manufacturing plan. We're also adding AI to NetSuite planning and budgeting. And this AI will continuously monitor your plans, your forecasts, and the variance from actuals for trends, anomalies, correlations. We're bringing data science
you're
to
ready.
the finance organization without hiring data scientists and without becoming a data scientist yourself. Just activate it. This is going to surface insights that you might not have found with traditional planning quickly, so you can accomplish more in less time. So you're done with planning, the business is executing, it's time to close the books.
I have another
The
question.
next
So what is
part of
AI
EPM
monitoring
is
your
what we added
planning
this
and
summer,
budgeting
NetSuite
for
account
exactly?
reconciliation. It
I mean, what is it
seamlessly
actually
connects
monitoring?
your NetSuite
Is
data
it
to
monitoring,
automate the
oh my
close
God, that's
process.
an anomaly that
In the
shouldn't
short
be
time
there? Or
available,
it's saying,
a bunch
well,
of
given
high-growth
this,
customers
that,
have used
or
it to suite
what?
up. We talked about how they're growing
I
over 3
would say
times
it's that,
as
but
fast
I'm
to get
guessing
more accuracy
that's not
and
the
less
Gen AI
manual
stuff
work.
everybody's
And you can get a jump
hyped
start
up about. This is
before
more
your
the
close process devolves
predictive and
into
analytical.
chaos. Now, NetSuite
I can't tell from what
reconciliation
he's
links
saying.
directly to the NetSuite GL to automate reconciliation for accounts payable, accounts receivable, bank accounts, credit card accounts, intercompany accounts, prepaid accounts, accruals, fixed assets, everything. Its auto match engine can match millions of transactions in minutes. And the dashboard gives you real-time status updates of the status of your reconciliation in particular accounts. If you're audit ready quickly, and it eliminates manual work so you can focus on those exceptions and you can have great confidence in your financials. So you've run your reconciliations, now the rest of the close. So the next part of EPM is NetSuite Financial Close Management. It builds on the financial close functionality in NetSuite. It has a more task-oriented framework to allow you to close your books even faster. I don't know if you've noticed, Oracle announces its earnings quite soon after the end of the quarter. That's because of powerful solutions like this. It allows you to have more automation and less chaos. So in financial close management, it has customized workflows that simplify the overall process. Task assignment, data validation, approval writing, notifications, they're all automated. So you can spend less time managing the close. And then there's a financial management dashboard that shows you all
Oh my
tasks
God. Hey,
independently,
Damien.
and you
Wow,
can
it's been a
drill down
while. How
by
are you,
user
buddy?
to uncover
Holy
bottlenecks where you
cow.
may need to add resources. You can
Last time
compare
I
your
saw you, though,
variances
if I
with
remember, was
previous
in
months.
Vegas.
It is a full
Now that I
featured
think of it.
closed solution, no matter how
Don't
complex
you want to come
your
here?
business
That-
is
Yeah, I'm on my
now
way.
or in the future.
Unless,
The
Damien, you
best-in-class
happen to be in
solution that will
Manassas,
bring to
Virginia,
you
come on over.
so that you spend less time and less headache on process and creates a solid foundation for your growth.
Well, it hasn't been
So
that
EPM
long. I mean, it's been,
also
what,
has
3
new
weeks, but
advanced reporting solutions that give you more details with less of the guesswork. So to speed the ability to create reporting packages, the narrative reporting feature adds context to the numbers. It combines financial statements with text narrative. For larger global customers, EPM's corporate tax
Always.
reporting
Invites
extends the tax
100%
management
always there.
capabilities of NetSuite to help ensure tax compliance around the globe. It has workflow, task management, and transfer pricing for working with multiple subsidiaries and units across countries, and it includes support of the new OECD standard CBCR, country by country.
That's a lot of acronyms there.
And then
So
for those
Brian,
of
you
with
said you had a
complex
couple
customer,
observations.
business, or product
Well,
segments.
let's just stay on
The
tax
dedicated
because he just mentioned
profitability
it.
cost management
They've got some
reporting
powerful
and EPM
partners like
gives you
Vertex and
more
Avalara
insight
down
into
there
those
at their
major
expo
profit
hall. I
drivers.
saw
So
them
you
there
can
last
use that
night.
information to allocate
So it'll be
resources
interesting to
better
see if
and make
those
smarter
two
resources
firms
across
have any
segments,
conflicts with
all
some of this new
connected to
capability
the
coming
data
out of
in
NetSuite
NetSuite.
itself.
So these
Anyway,
different pieces of
clients will be happy
NetSuite's
either way.
EPM connect
Yeah.
the planning process, closing, reporting across your entire organization. It's seamlessly integrated with NetSuite, giving you supercharged insights, allowing you to do more and spend less in finance. Now you can continue to purchase NetSuite Planning and Budgeting and NetSuite Account Reconciliation as a module, or you can purchase all of EPM together.
These are all
get a
great
richer
things to
understanding of
have to
business,
speed up the
better,
close.
with better
One of the
planning,
biggest
better
problem
operations.
areas is still the payroll to
So
financials
beyond automating
integration.
planning,
That
close,
chews up
and
an ungodly
reporting,
amount
we're also
of staff
continuing to
accounting
extend automation
time
to
in
other
most
time-consuming
companies.
financial
That's the
processes.
problem area
Get
to be
more
solved.
done in less
Are there
time.
any companies you think do that really well?
Now, AP automation made its big debut last year.
Not
The
even the
solution
ones
has
that
two
actually
parts,
have
bill
an
capture
captive
and payment
payroll
automation.
system, because if you're
Already a
global,
bunch of customers
chances are
have been
you're
using this to
multiple
automate their
different payroll
entire
providers
invoice to
around the
pay
planet.
process. But to ease adoption of AP automation, we're now going to
Are
allow
the
you to
payroll
start
vendors
with bill capture. NetSuite Bill
built
Capture
for
is
the,
designed
let's
to
call it
have
the
you never
integrations or
key in
the, at
another
least the
invoice.
interaction
Gives you more
necessary,
automation
or
with
they're
less
not
typing.
either?
It's going to turbocharge your efficiency.
One of the reasons
So
the
start
payroll
with this
vendors aren't
piece
as
and then
helpful as
suite
you
up to the
think
rest
is
of
that
AP
there are
automation.
very few
And you can better
companies that
manage cash
have
flow,
payroll
control your
capabilities
costs,
in more than a
and
handful
keep
of
strong
countries.
vendor
So
relationships.
no matter what, you've got a mess on your
Scanning
hands.
capture and NetSuite Billing Capture, NetSuite Bill Capture is a AI
We could do a
fueled
whole
process.
show
You
on
can drag and
global
drop your
payroll.
invoice or
If-
capture it via email.
And the audience
and
would
then
bring its
machine
own
learning
giant
based
bottle of
document
Tylenol.
object detection and optical character recognition captures all the invoice details, the PO number, the quantities, everything into NetSuite, and automatically creates a bill record. And then AI pre-populates that bill record based on learnings from other invoices. Then it can serve it up side by side so your AP team can view, can fill in with smart suggestions from the data, and then approve. And then before we pay it, we're going to automatically match it with the PO. So there's no more hand entry, and your AP teams can process more invoices in less
This is a
time.
good example
It's a
where
perfect
AI
example
and
of
robotic
AI in
process
everyday
automation start to
tasks.
overlap.
And the technology from OCI is allowing enterprise application of AI
Is that turning into
everyday
intelligent
workflow.
automation at that point, or?
So now we're going to shift gears to manage cash.
Everybody wants to
So
take cost and
when you're
tedious
tightening
work
your
out
belt,
of the
cash is
back office.
paramount. And one way to maximize cash
I mean,
is
this
to
isn't
reduce
my
the time you
world,
get
but
paid. Lower your days sales outstanding.
one
That
of the
gives you
things
money
that
for working capital to
one,
hire.
I guess one of the
purchase
things I
equipment,
wonder
market your goods
about
and
is,
services, everything you need to grow.
and you
today,
can
we're
enlighten
introducing
me,
NetSuite
enlighten us here a little bit.
a new service
There's
embedded
obviously
in
some
NetSuite
areas where
designed to
AI
give you more
provides
cash
some
with less stress. So with
easily
NetSuite Capital,
identifiable
you can
value.
accelerate payment on invoices.
But there's
that are
also
due later.
areas
You
that
submit your invoices
sometimes,
for
and
the
again,
amount of
it's
capital you
maybe
need.
just due
It's
to
an
my
easy
lack of
way to
awareness,
borrow
but
against your
where AI
receivables
seems to be there
without
because
the
it's
headache
AI.
of a formal loan.
And I'm
Use it
kind
to
of
grow your
wondering
business
if you're looking
more
at it
cash
from the
and less
standpoint of
headache.
this,
Great.
of the back
So one more thing we
financial,
want to talk about
the
to show
ERP
how
universe, the
building a strong
financials
financial
especially,
foundation. I'm so excited about this.
where AI
After you've
provides
analyzed your own operations
genuinely the
and
most
how you're growing
value,
your
as
own
opposed
metrics,
to
wouldn't it be great
you have
to
it
compare your
there because
performance
it's still
versus
initials
peers?
AI
How you're
or
growing
something
compared
you're
to the
pushing.
norm? How you're growing
So
compared to
where
the
are the
high
areas where
flyers?
AI in
We've
this
developed a brand new tool
part of things
that equips you to do that.
provide the
It's
most
called Benchmark
value?
360, and it's intended to give you more insight.
Could be
with
more
less
than one.
automation.
Surprising enough, the thing you did
So
it could
Benchmark
deliver
360
huge
starts with a
value is spotting
360-degree
potential
view into
fraud,
how your
embezzlement,
metrics stack
other
up
kinds
against
of
others in your
bribery,
industry
corruption,
or in your region.
those kind of
It
things.
details your
It could
performance on
spot
key
it probably
metrics as
better
well
than
across
most
all
human
departments
beings
in your
could do it in
organization
record
to
short
compare
amounts of time.
with
It's
peers.
not designed,
Now, the
in
first
that case,
release
not
is
designed to
focused on finance.
definitively
And
say
it's not
there
only going
is
to show you
fraud,
where
but
your
it'll
metrics
definitely
are
get you focused
lagging.
on it, and that could
It's
save a
also going to
lot of
serve
money.
up tools
It could
to
red
help
flag.
make
PR
improvements in those
embarrassment too.
I know that
Benchmark 360
for years,
will soon use
companies
AI
like
to learn
SAS
how other similar
have been
NetSuite customers
have a
are
very
using the
strong
suite
focus
to
on
improve their benchmarks.
fraud
This is
identification.
going to allow you to opt in
But
to
it
a
was,
service.
I'm
where
sure
you
using
share your data
AI, not
anonymously,
generative AI
only in
particularly, but
aggregate.
using
You
AI
will
over
keep
the
your data
years.
secure and private as always.
Are the companies
But
that,
with
let's
the
say,
data
have had a history with that? And
very
I think if I remember
optimized,
correctly, SAP
dashboard
did
is
too
also going to serve
a few
up
years ago.
best
I may be
practices
off on
to
that,
get
but
there,
I thought
including
I
what
remember
additional
them doing
functionality
some
could be useful.
conversing about
This
it
is
quite
the
a bit.
best of the NetSuite
Are the
ecosystem, learning
companies
from
that
thousands
were,
of companies,
let's say, 5, 6, 7 years
insight of
ago,
experts using the latest NetSuite
had a
functionality,
reasonably
delivered in
decent
recommendations
fraud identification
tailored
capability?
precisely
Are they
to your
keeping up with
business.
this, or are they starting to fall behind and
So
out,
these ways
given
that
how
we continue to
fast this
upgrade
is
NetSuite to
evolving?
solidify your financial foundations, enable you to do more with less.
There's
Let's
still
take
innovation
a
going
look
on
at an
here. There's no
incredible
question
company
about that.
that's done just that, MedSpeed.
Some of the big boys are trying to bring it into their products.
MedSpeed
That's a good
is a
thing.
leading provider of healthcare same-day logistics. Its
When Snow brings
transformative approach
that
connects patients, providers,
is
and
that
their
about
communities to
7%
enable
of
better
T&E
healthcare. With
transactions
over
may be
3,000
fraudulent.
delivery personnel,
That-
7%.
100 hubs across
7%.
the United
And
States.
take a big
The company
professional
has grown
services firm.
to
That's
serve
some
some
real
of the
money
largest
there.
and most
Yeah.
So
complex
using
healthcare
that kind of fraud
organizations
detection
in the
just in
country.
one area like
Its
travel
integrated
entertainment
logistics
can be big.
networks connect the
7%.
healthcare ecosystem 24/7 through the movement of physical
So
materials.
is it
And
fraudulent,
more
meaning
effectively
the
utilize
employees
scale
are
to reduce
filing
risk,
false
eliminate
reports,
redundancies, and
or
enable clinical effectiveness.
So I've seen a couple of vendors show lots of demos. Here's a couple of quick
Now,
use cases. One
please
could look at
welcome to the stage,
and
Natalie
find out
Norton,
that you and I
Chief
both shared a
Financial
cab
Officer
to go
of
to
MedSpeed.
a show. Both charged the full fare in
Ah.
on our own respective reports.
Thank you so much,
Hey,
Natalie.
yes, thanks.
Thanks for coming.
There are people who
So, Natalie, we just heard
book
about
travel
MedSpeed.
but then
Can
get
you
a
talk a
credit
little bit
back,
about your
and then they
growth
use the
journey over
credit
the
on
last
their
year?
credit card to
Absolutely.
buy
So
a
MedSpeed,
wedding gift or something like that.
implemented
So-
NetSuite 2013.
wow.
So we were an early adapter. Our company is transforming the healthcare system in same-day delivery, courier service. So what that means is that we have been growing compound annual growth rate since we got on NetSuite, 25%. It's been phenomenal growth, and we've continued to learn how to use the tools and the system to enable our organization to leverage that data so we don't have to grow our infrastructure costs and our accounting team by 25%. So it's been a win-win.
Fantastic. So it's great. What you're doing is obviously so important, delivery of healthcare. Tell us some other ways that you're using NetSuite within your org.
Well, the big idea was to use this tool and not have it be monopolized by the finance team. The idea was educate and train. We have over 100 operations throughout the US. Have our general managers learn the tool, teach them how to go in and understand their financials, do any type of research. So what does it do? It makes my finance team working at a higher level. So then my finance team isn't getting all the crazy questions nonstop. We can wait until we get questions that are really the hard ones. And then the finance team is working on the more strategic projects, things that make them more satisfied in their role. I actually think it helps us with our employee retention in finance because we can offer a richer career in the finance and accounting role.
Fantastic. So
To
we've
her
already
point,
kind of hit on this,
I
and we've been
watched a
talking
lot
a
of
lot
new
about how NetSuite
accountants
helps you
right
do
out of
more
college
with
being
less. How have
interviewed
you
at a show
seen that
not long
manifest
ago.
itself in your
And to the one,
Big
none
idea
of them
for
wants
us.
to be
So you
doing
think of same-day
journal
logistics
entry
to the healthcare
generation
industry. We're picking
or
up lab
those kind of,
specimens, delivering
photocopy work.
pharmaceuticals,
They want to
equipment,
be value-added
thousands of
consultants to the
transactions every
operational
day,
end of
millions
a
actually.
company they work for.
We're
That's the
driving
career they
over
want.
80 million
Yeah.
miles.
I
So
understand
what does
that.
that mean?
The
Everything, time
sales
and
guys
miles is
on our
cost.
end of the
So as
spectrum,
we can leverage and get
data entry
insight
to
those
them is just
costs and
a
look
waste
at
of their
could we
ability to
develop
find
a better
leads and get
solution.
commissions.
It's also a better solution because less miles, less impacting and sustainability, but we can then create solutions and take to our customers. We're servicing a lot of the big healthcare
The value
systems
props you mentioned
and
about
all
to be able
sorts
to
of healthcare
grow
providers,
in
and
a
if we can give
scaling,
them a
ever
more
scaling
efficient
force
option,
is something I
we
hear
can
at company
actually
after
avoid
company.
passing on all these
They don't want
inflationary
to grow the
increases
back office.
and
They want
create
to
a
grow
more
the,
efficient
the
solution and
customer
be
facing part of
competitive
the
to help
business
them
more
be
than anything
successful
else.
and not just pass on high
Smart
costs.
vendors understand that.
Fantastic. So we talked about an example. Maybe you can tell the crowd about how NetSuite's data is helping improve the customer experience at MedSpeed?
So big idea in healthcare is sustainability. Some of you may be working in trying to track the metrics for sustainability as a vendor to an organization that is putting a lot of demands on us to deliver sustainable solutions.
And it's a good look
Big
too.
idea for MedSpeed to electrification of our fleet. We have over 2,000 vehicles.
Well, it's the
It will
only
take
look
a
I
while
ever
to
see with
get
the
all of
tie
this
on.
figured out, but we have been rolling out electric vehicles,
You're
charging
it.
stations, and we could quickly use NetSuite to track total cost of ownership of the electric fleet and be able to then communicate effectively to the clients that are demanding this electrification sustainability metrics. So we see that as another terrific platform for us to differentiate in a competitive advantage and be smart about how we're doing those investments.
Well, that's so great that you're combining sustainability with what you're already doing, which is so important, the delivery of healthcare. And so what's next for MedSpeed and your use of NetSuite?
I'm so excited about what I've learned already. We are very committed to SuiteUp. The team back at MedSpeed will be thrilled to look at your automation and the bill payment tools. Because think again, if we can then streamline our workflow, avoid fingers on keyboard, that will then get us to support our growth without investing in, I'll call it the low value skill sets. Another SuiteUp idea for us is the account reconciliation. And I had to create a big data analytics team. I'm very curious about learning more on your AI and some of the analytics tools.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Natalie. I'm sure your account manager was listening to that, and you will learn a lot about NetSuite account reconciliation. So after hearing from Natalie and hearing about our great new features for your financial foundation, I hope you're inspired to SuiteUp. But if you need a little more of a push, yes, it's crazy dealing days. It's our 25th, so we're dishing out deals throughout the keynote. Why? Because we're loco, we're crazy, we're insane. We're disrupting ourselves. Who does that? This deal is 50% off implementation.
Having a hard time
NetSuite
convincing
Planning and
me
Budgeting,
he's
NetSuite
crazy.
Reconciliation, or NetSuite Bill Capture. There has never been a better
Crazy
time to
epic.
SuiteUp. While
Yeah,
we are
no.
off our rocker.
No.
This crazy
Sugar
deal is
Clint
valid through
works
November
far better
17th.
than Crazy
Spend
Evan.
less. Dial your account manager.
He does something like this in every show. I've been seeing him doing this for 20 years.
I know, and it never works.
That was my practice run.
Never works. He's just not built for
so
it.
we've been focused on
I think John
Exactly.
Reed and I have
efficiency
better luck on our
productivity
fake
and
infomercials
automating
for the
your
incredible
yours-
power of astounding
But there's more to
ERP.
life than belt
You
pressing.
do better
The goal is to
by
grow
far.
your
Maybe they
business.
should just
The
bring you two up on the
accomplish
stage
more
whenever
part of accomplish
getting the
more
urge to
and
do
spend less.
this.
Now, over 25 years, businesses have been coming to NetSuite when they experience growth. And why? Because
this is
manual
crazy
processes are preventing
because-
efficient expansion. They want to expand into new markets, new products, new services, new business models.
Applying three
The
dots.
manual processes become more time consuming, cost more employee time when you're trying to scale. Growth means more products, more services, more orders, more invoices,
Camera
more
work
payments.
really bugging me still.
Product companies have more products to make.
What is? Oh, the
warehouse,
camera
deliver.
work.
no, the camera work's
Service
terrible.
companies have
Oh,
more
God.
scheduling, more project
Those
management,
hard jump
or
cuts,
more
man,
subscriptions. And if
those-
you're doing field
well, they're not
services,
even
you have
jump
more
cuts,
asset tracking
jump.
and more services to
terrible.
dispatch. All of this is
Yeah.
harder as you grow. Now, many of
How
you
about
are
we
already
rename
there
growing
or will be soon.
pains to
I mean, we can see it in the data.
neuropathy?
For example,
You know,
the longer you use NetSuite, the more
Make it more,
locations you have.
you know,
These might be
impactful.
manufacturing sites, sales offices,
Neuropathy.
stores.
Well, then we can
If you
actually
get 3 years with
prescribe
NetSuite, you're using
medicine
4
for
times as many operating locations as you did when you started. 3 more years, it's up in another 50%. And you're operating in 324,000 subsidiaries. That was 5 per company in 2016. It's 9 per company today. A third of you are operating in multiple countries, and half of those are operating entirely outside the United States, in a total of 219 countries. This is significant
and
growth.
a quarter of
That's
those
why
are
we wanna make it
operating
all easier
illegally in
through automation.
international waters.
We want to help
How
make
many
you more
countries are
productive,
there total?
allow you to grow more.
I thought there was
while spending
170
less.
something.
Now we're
So
going to start with something
he says
basic,
and territories.
faster
though.
access
Okay,
to
Total
cash, and there's a couple
country
ways
count in the
to
world
make this happen.
in
The
territories.
obvious
Usually
step
that was
is
204.
to make it easier to
Oh,
invoice
204? I
customers
thought it was like
or trading partners.
178.
Now the business world is moving to an e-invoicing standard, and 60
I'm going to
countries
declare
actually have
myself
an
an independent
e-invoicing
nation.
mandate. That number could double
It's a
That's
new
right.
tax
by
plan.
2030. But beyond mandates, e-invoicing
It's,
optimizes your cash
I am
collection.
personally, I am
Now
now
today,
an
we're announcing
independent
new
nation,
capabilities
and
in
I
the
am
NetSuite
claiming to be
electronic
offshore.
invoicing suite app, allowing you to send
I am
e-invoices
offshore.
and
We're
POs
off
and other
kilter.
documents to
That's right.
customers
Some
and
of your thoughts
partners
have been out
in
of this
NetSuite
world. So, yeah.
That's right.
anywhere in the
I have an
world.
off
It
kilter
automatically
account.
complies with regional standards like PEPL. If you know, you know. Get paid, collect cash faster, spend less time generating invoices.
And what about those of us
Now,
who
these
don't
new
know?
capabilities are powered by our longtime
There you go,
partner,
Brian.
There you go.
Avalara. We've been working with Avalara for
I could have
20
written
of our
this
25
script
years
today.
on the best technology for tax compliance. And we're also tapping into the Oracle Business Network. This leverages Oracle's decades of experience in electronic business procurement, and it gives you access to the OBN community of over 20,000 members as potential trading partners. Now, to tell us more about NetSuite electronic invoicing and the improvements we're making, I would like to introduce
I get no commissions
Avalara
from
Chief
any kind of
Revenue
vendor
Officer,
referrals.
Kimberly
Avalara is
Diabol.
actually pretty good.
Really? Again,
Hi.
don't know them really.
Thank you so much,
right.
Kimberly. So great. Okay, so Avalara, everybody here knows it. You're our titanium sponsor. Thank you so much. Everyone knows you for tax
That means
compliance.
everybody gets a
But
free
your company's been
iPhone
on a
15.
journey. How would you characterize that recent journey?
Well, first of all, congratulations on 25
They're
years. We
standing
have
so
been a
far
partner
apart
for
on that
20 of
stage,
those,
you'd
so
think they'd
I
we've
know.
grown up together, and in this room,
Exactly the
I
same
think
thing.
collectively we service about 4,000
Mask
customers.
up and move
It's been
closer.
an exciting journey with NetSuite and Avalara, and really
Yeah,
it
when
all
they say,
began with
now if they
sales
say they're
tax
working closely
calculation.
with their
And
partners,
the
we're going to have
journey
to say,
after
no,
that has
no,
brought
no,
a
you're, no,
lot
you're
more
not.
tax
No.
compliance. So we
You're working
provide
200 feet from
end-to-end
your
tax
partner.
compliance for all of our customers. That can be anywhere from returns, exemption certificates,
They haven't showed like a
VAT,
shot of them both
cross-border,
being in the
now
same frame,
e-invoicing.
have they?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, so
Can't
what are
do.
the challenges that customers are
What is
seeing?
that?
They're not in the same frame. That's why they literally,
Well, you
they're
mentioned,
too far
Evan,
apart.
that countries are adopting
They could do
mandates,
a
regulations
zoom out,
around
but then they look
making
like
it
little
required that you do
sticks.
e-invoicing.
The
Of
camera
course,
work is
obvious
really.
reasons.
Oh,
They want to be able
Yeah.
to tap into
Don't
exactly
wait
the
for
Time-
one of
tax
them to
that you
start
owe,
shouting at the other
when you owe
ones.
it, and then kind of real time
What?
to be able to get
What
that
was
money right away.
that?
So
What?
we could see
Huh?
that the
Can you
government's
say that
getting
again?
smart about technology.
I can't
But
hear
it's really
you.
difficult for businesses
To-
because
They'll
you
they'll
actually
go.
have to understand e-invoicing in every single country. Different rules, different formats, different networks. You talked about PEPL, which probably not everybody knows about that, but you'll all learn
that
about
was,
it if you're
I'm
going
glad
to
she
be
said
into
that.
e-invoicing.
I didn't know what it
So
was.
that makes it super complicated, and you really need to be focused on real-time transaction invoice management in order to do the expansion into these markets.
Yeah, great. And I think everybody was.
You know, a lot of people aren't talking about is the need for better harmonization of some of the new AI regs.
So we have
invoicing
invoicing where it's required, but how does the
whether it's
solution
payroll
extend this further?
taxes, sales use
Well,
taxes,
through our great
GST,
partnership, we're going to be
whatever.
extending this by embedding it, which is
It's
everything
not
you're talking
all
about
of
here
that
at
lack
this
of
conference.
harmonization
Making
makes
it easier for NetSuite
doing
customers to get
business,
these
commerce
capabilities of best-in-breed tax
expensive,
capabilities and
almost
knowledge and
needless.
expertise,
So,
but embedded into your user
So how do
experience for NetSuite.
how do you
So our expertise
harmonize
is
slash
understanding
standardize
these
those things
tax
exactly?
compliance
They
requirements
just,
and actually
I
working
mean, they're
with governments
taxes of
around the
different
world to make
types,
sure we're trying to help
but
set those
states,
standards, but they're
cities,
still never going to
counties.
be all on the
oh,
same
oh, you
kind
mean
of standards.
okay,
So
got it.
putting it into the UI is critical. You mentioned that there's 60 countries today. We think there's going to be 120 by 2030. How are we going to manage that as business leaders? So being able to make that available inside that experience in a compliant way is going to be really powerful. And then all the great advantages that you talked about around being able to drive down cost, resources, and making it easier around payments and cash collections, really just kind of making it easy to handle the burden of tax while you're growing into new markets.
It's great. And so what are some other things that make the solution?
Brian, I guess Alan is still having a
many
hard time hearing
customers
you.
that have been doing international
So
business
I mean,
probably have been
you're
doing it
still
through
kind of low.
the
Can you make
basics
it
of
any
getting
louder?
a local vendor in a country and helping them manage that in an outsourced kind of way. That's not sustainable when you're talking about 60 or 100 countries. So really, what we think needs to happen is you need to be thinking about one
wide
to
angle
many
shot there.
kind of a solution like you have embedded in.
You also see how far apart the stage they are.
Set it up.
Yeah.
And be
Kind
able
of
to say,
weird.
what are all the countries
Usually
that we're
with
gonna go
Mark,
into?
they're right up
And you
like
can just
here.
do it all in the same motion and be able to get access. And as
They're
you
literally
grow,
chest bumping.
easily add more countries. So I think that's our mission, is to make tax burden just off the plate so they can focus on growing the businesses.
Fantastic. And Kimberly, where can they go to learn more?
Well, I believe tomorrow in the product keynote, you'll see a nice demo, but come also tomorrow, Wednesday at 11 o'clock, we're going to be doing a breakout session on e-invoicing. But of course, you can come to the Avalara booth or hunt down the folks around here in orange. We can answer all those questions for you.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thanks for your partnership over those 20 years.
Not
Thanks for
even a
working
hug.
with us on the solution. It's great.
Okay.
Well, you know, not everybody's a hugger.
Almost everybody is.
Okay, so now you've invoiced those customers. Now you want to make it easier for those customers to pay and for you to process those payments. Today, we're announcing NetSuite Pay to give you more timely payments and less excuses.
Shouldn't it be fewer?
Oh, yeah, should be fewer. Okay, grammar mistake. Evan GPT, can you please clean this up for me?
Ay.
Nice. Love you, Evan GPT. You're the best. All right, so actually, we do have that functionality coming in NetSuite, so I'll show you that in a bit. Super cool. All right, so NetSuite Pay eliminates the manual steps and the multiple systems in your payment process. It makes it easier to process credit cards, debit cards, bank
I
transfers.
definitely know if we were
and
doing
fully
last tech
integrates with the
company
NetSuite
standing, who
platform.
would
You
not
can
be the
apply for a
last tech
merchant
company
account with
standing?
low negotiated rates.
They did out
and
in the
fees.
first round.
You can
Okay,
accept
but,
payments
I
faster than ever.
found out
And our
yesterday.
first
Did
partner
you
in
know
this
that Evan
is
was a
our
drummer in the
longtime
company
partner,
band?
VersaPay, and there's going to be more
No.
coming soon. So together, these
I found that
services
out
and
last night.
e-invoicing and NetSuite
Oh my
Pay help
God.
automate your receivables and take
Well,
more manual
maybe
processes
BYOB
off the
24,
plate.
he'll be back.
Take the focus away from time-sucking tasks towards growing your business, doing more while working less.
We saw
We've
some
talked
of that
about
from Zoho,
the way to fire up your growth
last year,
engines on the
earlier this year,
invoicing
last year.
and payment side. Now, let's talk about
Around
spending
what?
less
Field
and doing
service
more on
management?
delivering
This?
products and
Yeah,
services.
ability to set
So
up
many of
merchant
you already
accounts
use
easily and all.
PSS.
Yeah, well, that
Purchase
was,
Service
remember that was
Collaboration,
their,
Open Air or Suite projects
the,
to deliver project-based services
where they
more
became,
efficiently
I call
and
it
more
Zoho
profitably.
as a service,
But
basically,
beyond this, we're
where
announcing a solution
they were
today to
actually
allow delivering
allowing,
field
they
service
would create
more
your
efficiency and less
incorporation, help you with
complexity.
your incorporation and everything
Now,
like
when
that,
teams in the field have no
right from the
way to
get-go of
communicate
your
with the back
business.
office, they
That was part
experience
of their
massive
services
manual
also.
steps to log what happened, a high cost of revisiting customers when critical information was not available about the maintenance history or the parts on hand. There's the chaos of scheduling and dispatching field technicians remotely on various schedules using spreadsheets, texting, and phone calls. Now, we recently announced our intent to acquire Next Technique, a top provider of field service management solutions for NetSuite customers. Today, we're announcing that the deal is closed, and this is going to allow us to bring to market field service management for NetSuite, allowing those with field services to service more, spend less, way less, by eliminating manual processes that proliferate as you grow. You can create service jobs from NetSuite cases, sales orders, projects. You can dispatch and schedule jobs to technicians considering their skills and locations, and the back office can track the job status in real time.
We
Field
should dive
workers
into this
use a
more
mobile app
deeply.
to check schedules,
Is it
see
integrated
customer
with
and
their
asset history,
manufacturing
and manage
functionality?
inventory. And you
Is
can
it
use
tied into
NetSuite
their
reporting to
ASC
track work
606
utilization
revenue
to determine the
recognition,
profitability of every job,
accounting?
customer,
Well,
contract, and technician.
what I'm trying to remember, and I
This
think
allows
it
you to
might have been
utilize your
Oracle,
workforce at
actually,
peak
at
efficiency,
CloudWorld,
boosting your first-time
that
fix
announced
rates,
a
and ensuring you
vastly
always have the parts
expanded
to
field
do the
service
job, never
capability
spending
too.
time
Generally,
relaying info
I mean,
back to
broadly,
headquarters.
the
It's a
full
huge win for
from,
service
you know,
businesses to accomplish more and grow your operations
case
with less
creation
time
to
and less effort.
dispatch to
You can catch a
solution
demo
to
of this
catalog
in the demo grounds,
to
or there's a breakout session that
best
shows it
practices
right
as a whole
after today's keynote.
expanded capability. This
Today,
seems
we're
to be
also
kind of the
debuting a way for product-based
operational
businesses to
piece
spend
to a
less
similar
and
thing.
accomplish more
I'm not
when using
operational, that's not the
NetSuite.
word I'm looking
Now,
for.
many of you have told us you want more employees in the company to be able to use NetSuite
basically the
to boost
more
productivity in a more economical way.
process-driven piece.
Not all users,
Not
we
the
tell
word I'm
us,
looking
need
for either.
access to the full
I
capabilities
can't think of the word
a
I'm looking
particular
for,
area.
but I know
So
what
we're
I
going to
mean.
answer that by introducing a new, flexible licensing model that's going to deliver more users at less cost. This new model provides license access for only the functionality specific users need. And the first rollout is for WMS, for your warehouse management. So the new license allows staff to perform the functions only in WMS. These are everyday tasks like receiving, put away, picking, shipping. You pay for what they need, you don't pay for what they don't need. So it's a way to do more and spend less in the warehouse, and it's the first of many such flexible licenses to come.
This is a great idea.
So everything we've talked about so far, every facet of the efforts for growth involves data. And
wondering,
data is proliferating
I mean, it
from
sounds
more and more
like
sources as you grow.
what he
E-commerce,
just said
sales,
anyway, or the way he
internal
just said it,
systems. This is data
that
you
it's
can-
basically,
this is
hi, you can pay
opportunities
for a
that can
piece
lead
of
to
this.
action for better outcomes.
I
Data
mean,
analysis
I don't know that
is a
that's all that
critical growth
unusual,
engine
really.
in any business.
I mean,
That's
you know,
the reason to
we're
look
looking at it in the old
NSAW,
on-premise world. That's
NetSuite
literally,
Analytics Warehouse,
oh, you just
giving you
bought
more
warehouse
decisions
management,
with
right?
fewer silos. Look, Evan
I-
GPT learned and already fixed
I'm not that.
Awesome.
I'm not. If it was,
Okay, so
hi,
NetSuite
this
Analytics
part of
Warehouse
where you only need this
designed to help
much
you
of the warehouse
accomplish more by
management, you'll only pay for
consolidating
that,
data
or
from all
you know,
sources
utility
and then
model or
easily
whatever.
extracting
I would be a little
insights.
more excited, I
You
think.
use
But
fewer homegrown connections, fewer integrations, less manual work. You get over
One of my
40 free
clients
connectors,
had
and then
over
NetSuite converts that
1,000
data
railroad
into business
repair
intelligence.
mechanics.
We're going to give you
All
over
the only
40
application they
types
went
of
into was
visualization,
requisition
charts,
of parts.
pivots,
That's
heat
it.
maps. And we
And they ran it
include
multiple
over
times a day,
200
every one
visualizations
of them,
specifically
but
for
they didn't
departments
need
like
a
finance,
all
sales, your
all
inventory.
access license.
no, again, I
And
think it's
now,
fine.
we're
I'm
going
not
to allow you
opposing
to
the idea. I
embed the
just
insights of
don't
NetSuite
think it's
Analytics
anything. He's
Warehouse
making it sound like it's,
directly
oh
in
my God,
NetSuite. You can
what a
add these
unique move. I don't
visualizations
think so.
right onto the dashboard.
I think
Allows
it's
these
just a newer,
insights to be
another
even more
version of
actionable
a
because you're putting them
of a
in
model
front
that's
of
been around a
users
while.
that could actually act on them and right where they're doing their daily work. We're also adding new subject areas to NSAW. For example, the financial analysis subject area combines different transaction types to gain deeper insights.
Brian, when you're looking at all the analytics
uses visualizations
pieces
only
to a lot of
available
these
in Oracle Analytics Cloud,
suites,
which is the analytics component of NetSuite.
and this is going to be a really, it's probably not really a fair question, but
Now, NSAW has had
who
AI
is
baked
the-
in from the start.
whose
This AI
analytics
powers predictive analytics.
lay-
Predictive analytics can ingest data from all
components.
sources, train a
Do you-
model,
do you
and then
really
serve up insights that
find-
were otherwise difficult to see.
I don't know if I want to call it the
without
most
programming.
trustworthy exactly, or let's say
So
the
here
most
we can see how
useful,
NetSuite
meaning
Analytics
who's
Warehouse has
providing
historical invoices,
what you
trained a
think
model
the
using
customers
AutoML,
need
that's
and is
automated
doing the
machine
best
learning,
job of it.
to
When you're
predict the
looking
days
at
to
all the
pay
vendors,
for
at least all the main
individual
vendors, who do you think
The
is
model is
who's
applied
doing
to
it?
outstanding
If
invoices
if
to
there's
add
such
the
a thing,
predicted
who's
days to
doing it
pay field that you can see,
most
and
effectively?
then those values are
You
categorized
asking
into
me?
high risk,
Yeah.
low risk, or no risk payment pins. You can use that result to
There's
review the
niche
overall
players that
trends
really
in payment risk and
very
also
good. Visier
identify
in
customers for
HR
targeted incentives.
dominates
This is
that
all
space.
happening in NSAW out of the box.
The
with
problem
NetSuite
with
data, no
all the
data
other
scientists
ERP
required.
guys is they could generate
So the
generic
analytics warehouse has been one of the fastest growing
analytics
parts of the
out of the
suite.
box.
And we've had great use cases that
And
you've showed us. So to
they're
tell us more and
out
how
of the box,
suiting
not
up
really
has
dialed
played
into a
across
specific
their
vertical.
business, I'd
You
like
need to go to
introduce
almost a
another
niche
customer
vendor
for launch.
on like C3 AI or
Right.
Uptake, something like that.
Starting as a retail store in 1938, Tolato Wine Group has evolved into a leading importer and marketer of luxury beverages.
You ever hear
As a
that?
multi-generational family business, the company is committed to
Hear
owning
about
and
what,
representing
Tolato?
quality brands
Yeah.
to support the legacy of other family-owned wineries and distilleries across the world.
Did I miss something you were
Tolato
referring
Wine
to?
Group's portfolio includes more
No,
than
I just
85
wanna
fine
know if you
wine
heard of that
and
wine.
artisanal spirit
Oh,
brands
have I heard of
from
it?
world-class
Yeah.
producers in more than a dozen
No,
countries.
there's 8
and
million
is the
California
leading fine
vineyards.
wine and spirit marketer in the United States.
I'm sure Zach did. Zach probably drunk a lot of it.
Now, please welcome to the stage Jeff Hampton, Head of Reporting and Analytics for Tolato Wine Group.
You know, with all the hype around AI, what no one's talking about is, excuse me,
Big
and
fan
It's
of
Evan.
your
talking
brand,
about the
Stanford,
cost
like, really amazing,
of this
amazing
stuff.
brand.
So,
Right.
And well, reporting and analytics.
Did you notice
that's
it's
not
Evan
pretty
who's the one
relevant.
who moves all the
We
way
heard about
backwards?
Tolato. How about let's hear about you and your
He
role.
literally backed off as
My
soon as
role,
you shook the guy's
senior
hand.
manager, I think of.
I'll make
of
note of that when I
reporting.
do my
have to
interview
check
with
my
him later.
signature and make
That's
note of
right.
that, But you can dumb it down to just saying I'm in charge of data. I'm in charge of making sure that accurate, concise, trustworthy data gets in the hands of the people who need it at the time that they request it. And we've been leveraging NetSuite to do just that through its native reporting system, its incredibly robust safe searches, which I'm finding out all the time more about. You can go crazy with them with formulas and functions. And last but not least, with NetSuite Analytics Warehouse. And the role that NSAW has played, we are only migrated about a year ago, so we're fairly new to the team. And one of the initial uses of NSAW that I don't think anyone really quite expected is that visualizations, the one thing about them is that it lays everything bare. Your weaknesses, your strengths, also your outliers in data. So if you're looking at a line graph of sales and it jumps, from here to back down here, either you've had a very sweet day of sales or somebody keyed something in wrong. It's incorrect data. It's something you got to go fix. So in the beginning stages, it was
pretty
wonderful in helping us get a
depressing
very
look at his company.
clean data set of
That
information.
we couldn't possibly have had a
And
great
once
day,
you
so
have
somebody
that,
probably keyed
and you have
something in
people
wrong.
trusting in the data source of NetSuite, then you can really start to use NetSuite as a launch pad for real growth.
Great. Well, and do you want a job as a NetSuite sales consultant, by the way? No. We'll leave you doing that great stuff at Tolato. So, okay, Launchpad for Growth. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, when you're spending less time fixing data, you can actually look at the data and make decisions on it. I kind of have to mention our previous setup to make it really flow. We had an ERP, we had a planning and budgeting tool, we had an analytics tool. The analytics tool was 10 years out of date. It was an on-premise SQL Server database that required that special type of maintenance. It wasn't clouded. The systems didn't talk together.
It wasn't clouded.
And then there were
That used to be a
homebrew
good
solutions. Microsoft Access always finds a way in. So you had, a query based on a query based on a query based on a query based on a query that was used as a record source for a report that exported to a Excel data tab and a pivot table that got refreshed and sent to different people. The end result of all that insanity is that you have two different data sets of information, and you have two different people making two entirely different conclusions based on what should be the same data. So what the tool has allowed us to do is get everybody on board making the same decisions. We're able to see on the same level down.
By the way, how long is this all
we're able
supposed to go? Since I have
pair
no idea.
together now as a result
It
of direct
says it
integrations with NetSuite
goes to
planning and
10:30.
with,
But I have a suspicion it
all
might
the data
end
sources that we
earlier.
pull in through NetSuite Analytics Warehouse, we're able to put side by side now, which we've never had the ability to do without an exhausting
This has been
process of
a kind of a
days of work cobbling together
pre-pandemic
like an Excel spreadsheet of this.
Keynote
Actuals
feel to it.
next to budget.
Well,
next to
you saw what
completion,
Alan said.
what we're
Yeah.
selling in
Well,
our
he
stores.
went back a little longer than I did.
Right.
It's provided insight to our salespeople and to our management team in a way that we've never had before, and they're truly able to make decisions in a way that we've never
we could have
been
done
able to,
a lot
to do.
more
And
around
we're
the
agile
25th
and we can
anniversary.
move quickly now. And
Agility
in a
is
world
what it's all about. That's fantastic. And we've
Well,
also
we'll
been
do
talking
more about we'll do
obviously
more around the
productivity
15th
counting as you
anniversary of
use more of
CRM
this week. I
Playaz
think
next
that's
year.
exactly what you're saying. Really been able to do.
We'll
more
make
with
up for
less.
what they
Both of us,
didn't
yeah.
do here.
Great. And so, okay. So you've talked to us a lot about NetSuite Analytics. That's fantastic. You also use advanced customer support. We love advanced customer support here. We think everybody should have that sort of NetSuite expert on your side. Can you tell how partnering with us on that has meant to your team?
It's been everything really, because like I said, we're only about a year into NetSuite, and every time I go in, I'm finding some new feature that I didn't know existed. I'm finding a new checkbox that I didn't know about, but I mean, it's kind of a game changer. You need somebody who can give you that insight when you're first starting out, because I mean, it's a large, very robust system, and having a partner like ACS is it's everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so what's next for Tolato and your use of NetSuite?
Well, I mean, like I said, we're new. There's a lot of the system that we currently don't use, so we're implementing things that we already have all the time. We've recently implemented.
That's a good question. I don't know.
We have implemented demand planning. We're scratching the surface on OCR.
I mean, I know John Reed makes the point all the time is
additional workflows to
I mean,
continue
it's
data validation, things like
he always
that.
makes the point
Right.
that
And yeah,
people come to the
with
conferences to
2
either
updates
try to get
a
an
year
answer
with
to something they're
NetSuite,
trying
a
to
feature
solve,
4 with
find out
NCW
about
one each quarter.
something something
Every
more about what
time a
they're
new,
using, get
release
some,
comes out, I'm finding
learn
new
more
things
about
that
it,
you
et cetera,
can
et cetera,
leverage.
which
And so as
I would
you guys
imagine
continue
in
to
part,
sweeten
it's
up
not what
with
I
new
come to a
features,
You'll
conference
continue to
for,
sweet
but
up
it's
while
what
you
a
are a
buyer
poster child
probably
NetSuite
is
customer.
more than
Thanks for
likely
your
to, or at
partnership.
least
And
the
you have a
customer is
great
more than likely
offer
to come
for
for.
our attendees.
you do talk about
Now,
sweet.
do you want to do it crazy
Although I
Disney
still
style?
I'll
Or
let
you
you
can do
handle
it
have a
that.
hard
normal. You
time
want to do it normal style, like a normal style.
with the
fine.
way
Go ahead.
You can pull
let
it
me
up.
ask this, and maybe unless they've
Talk about this
But it's a
repositioned,
20% offer on our website, uncorked.com.
how is
And it's
NetSuite
for an entire
positioning
month.
itself
So if you go there,
in the
make a
market?
purchase when you're
It
checking out,
used to
use a
be, to
promo
me,
code,
when I was
SuiteWorld 20.
much more
That's
active with
SuiteWorld
them,
all together, one word.
they were always
20
positioned
as a
in
promo code when
the
you're checking out.
middle
You'll get
of the
20%
mid-market
off
all the
your
way
order.
to the upper end
And
of the
that's
mid-market,
special just for you
and
guys.
maybe
All right,
bleeding
well,
into
that
the
is
lower of
fantastic.
the enterprise.
Yes,
so to
thank you,
speak.
Jeff.
Thank
You
you.
know, so it
Great
would
stuff.
be the
Thanks for all your support and
$900
everything you've
million
done. Fantastic.
company
What a
or something
story.
like that.
It's impressive to see
And
what
then I
Toronto's
heard
done with
early on
NetSuite
when the
Analytics
acquisition
Warehouse with
happened,
ACS.
I
It's a
kept
launch
hearing
pad for astounding
Oracle
release.
refer to it for small
Now,
business, which
Jeff may
just
not want to see
never
crazy dealing days, but
crossed
I
my
sure
mind.
do. All right, here we go.
We're back
Okay,
in
why?
Crazy Evan
Because
again.
we are certifiable. Now we're gonna go really loco. Look at this. It's getting crazy here. It's our 25th anniversary, so we're gonna give you 25% off any 12-month ACS purchase. We're gonna be even more. We got bats in the belfry. We're not playing with a full deck. We don't have any deck.
How many
50%
millennials
off your
understand
NetSuite
bats in the
Analytics Warehouse
belfry?
implementation. Purchase by November 17th,
How many people understand bats
2023.
in the
Why?
belfry?
Because we're insane.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
That doesn't work.
Well, gotta give
Thank
credit
you.
to Brian.
Thank you.
He's trying.
Guy.
So, okay,
All
so
right,
where's
now with
NetSuite
every
positioning
deal
itself now?
that you need to suite up, we're going to continue to explore new ways
Their
we're
main
enhancing the suite
customer is
with
still
AI
a
and how we're bringing
mid-sized
you
kind of
a
firm.
new UI.
They can replace out
very,
almost
very
all the
soon.
JD
And
Edwards
this is
install
this
base
way we're
with
going
this
to do it.
kind
What
of
you're about to
product.
see is going to help you find new
And
ways to increase.
Yeah.
They
your
can
customer
go
growth.
down a
Now,
bit. They can go up
delivering
a
your
bit.
product of service is not
But
the end
frankly,
of your
if
customer
you-
relationship. It's the beginning.
If you
Your
really
customers are your greatest
need
asset.
more
You
than
want to keep
this,
them.
you've got no
and you want
choice
to
really
keep them
but to
happy.
go to the
You
Fusion
want to introduce
product
new
line. That's
opportunities
really where you belong.
for your offerings.
Thank you.
It's the
Thank
engine
you.
of growth.
That's
that can
exactly
pump
what I thought.
revenue.
I didn't see any real
So we have something
change over
now
the years.
called
I always
Customer 360.
found the
It delivers
positioning that
all the critical
Oracle
info and
gave
insights on your
them
buyers
was
in one place.
weird and
Track
wrong.
behavior,
I literally
KPIs,
heard them
customer
defined as
lifetime
small
value,
business
order history,
by Oracle.
profitability, giving you more visibility.
I don't know
with
any small
fewer
business that needs them.
blind spots. Thank you, Evan GP.
Maybe in 1999, but
Let's
not
take a
now.
look at Customer 360. It's built on our newest UI. It's the first of many features that you're going to see based on Oracle's Redwood look and feel, which itself is based on years of research and design. And it also takes advantage, as I said, of AI. The AI-generated headline tells at a glance the most important things about this customer. And then you can click on View More, and AI-generated insights give you more detailed overview about this customer in a human-readable way. It uses the recent interactions with the customer, and it's based on rich data from across the suite. And it draws attention to the most important aspects of this customer, like, look, there's a hot opportunity you should follow up on. But we're not done with AI on the overview. So on the Sell tab, you can see key sales metrics and opportunities. But more importantly, it has recommendations for new products or services that you can upsell or cross-sell.
Later, Alan.
AI-driven recommendations are based on a comprehensive
Say hi to the
purchase and
kids
interaction
and
history
Jenny.
in the suite of this customer and all customers. And it considers important
Good to sort of see
information
you, Alan.
like availability or profitability to drive the optimal outcome. We also have an orders and return tab that
Are they
provides
going
a
to talk
summary of
about
sales and
Oracle's
key metrics like average
outlier
order value.
products like
And finally, a
e-commerce
receivables
and
tab that ties
CRM
sales to
Plus
finance
or whatever
with
they
an
still
overview
call
of
it
invoices, payments, credits,
at all?
and
I'm
the key
just
metrics
curious.
of overdue invoices.
Have they said anything about it at all? Like at
So
the
that's Customer 360,
in
but there's more to it,
conversation
and there's a
last
lot of
night or
amazing other things to come.
I think you
And I'd
thought
love
with
for you to
Customer
go to Gary
360.
and his team's keynote
That's
tomorrow
it?
to go into more detail.
I'm guessing.
yeah, it's kind of
We
stretching.
talked about a solid financial
I
foundation for your
haven't done
business,
any around
about those
more
growth
around
drivers.
commerce though.
In all cases, about doing more with
No, I
less.
just, well,
Now,
I
what
was,
if you could turbocharge
when
all
they,
that?
in the beginning of the
Now, I've mentioned AI a few
speech,
times.
they were talking, they
because
showed it.
Because we're
That's why I
integrating
was
it
sort of
into
wondering.
everything we do, because we see it as a force multiplier. Ultimately, a quantum leap in the ability to provide insights and fuel productivity, to do even more with even less.
They'll get, what's his name, Scott,
So increasingly, you're going to see our AI capabilities coming as advice
the guy who
and
starred in
assistance
Quantum Leap.
within key workflows to
Scott.
help support decision-making and help support
Acula.
execution of those decisions. And we'll move beyond the insights
So I
that you
know
see
we
on the surface to
get
see
briefed
patterns
and
beneath the
have heard
data.
so much
And not
about
just see
NetSuite
them,
over the years.
it'll
But I
explain
think
them.
one of the
And then AI can help
headlines that's
predict
not
potential
coming out
outcomes, both with your
is
data and
just
data
how
outside
much
your organization
benefit
based on
the
other companies.
customers
And it
get
can also
from the
make
leverage
suggestions
they're
based on what
getting
worked
out
before
of
for you
Oracle.
and what has worked for
Oracle's
other
R&D
companies
budget
like
alone
yours. And
is
then it can assist
probably
in carrying out these suggestions. Now, there's
100
many
times
examples
bigger
of
than
this
most
already.
mid-market firms'
NetSuite
total
Planning and
R&D
Budgeting
budget is,
uses
or
predictive
1,000
analytics to
times
assist
bigger. It's
planners.
just massive.
Supply Chain Control Tower
And Oracle's got
identifies
the
risk,
OCI
but then
infrastructure
suggests
and a million
solutions.
other things. I mean,
NetSuite
Right.
Bill Capture
it's this
learns from previous
leverage they
invoices,
have
which assists in
against those
capturing new ones. And you
assets
can
that
see
to
all
me
these
is the
examples
real
in
story.
the demo grounds.
I don't know that they
But
really
we're also really
push that
excited.
enough.
That's all traditional AI. We're going to bring generative AI, what you've been reading about ubiquitously, to assist you right inside of NetSuite, and it's coming in the next few months. So excited
To your point,
to
that
announce
edition is
Text
still built on
Enhance.
what I've always
That
found to
thing,
be a
that
very,
MGBT
very,
thing,
very
that's
solid
Text
product.
Enhance.
I mean, it's
And
not
it's going
like
to really help you
they
with
weren't
text
thinking
throughout
about what
your
people
NetSuite
needed.
application. It's
I don't know if it's
by the
overdone or
OCI
not, but
generative
in
AI
general,
service,
taking
using
what
a
you
large
just
language
described,
model from Cohere, who we're going to
putting
be
it in with
hearing
a
from shortly.
already
It allows you to do
solid, good
more
product,
with your text in NetSuite
gives them
with less
huge
effort
amounts of
than ever before. Let's
additional
take a look at a demo.
value, additional
Yeah, I mean,
benefit.
Okay, we're right here on the
the
item
point I'm
record.
getting at
Bunch
is
of
the
fields on the item
typical
record. We're going to enter
prospect that
some
they
data
go
into
after
those fields. But
probably
ultimately,
does
we want
not
to create
understand or fully
a
appreciate
purchase
this
description.
leverage.
And so we're going to go up to the purchase description
Well,
field,
then
and we're going to
that's
put
where
in some
the
basic
Oracle's
info that we
sales
want
and
to make
marketing
sure
people have to
is included
get better.
in this purchase description.
I mean, I get what you're saying.
by the
No,
way,
it
we
makes,
wanna
look, that
make
makes
sure
obvious
it knows that there's a
sense from
special
what you
order
just
item. Now let's
described.
ask Text Enhance to generate
That
text. There it is. There's your purchase
That's a
description.
huge
It used the
benefit.
relevant fields
I mean,
for a purchase, including, as you can see, that it's only by special order and
Yankees
it
level.
included the manufacturer. Now let's switch to the sales description. Very different. That's aimed at the customer, not at the vendor. So putting a little bit more info in the
I've
item
got a
record,
one-on-one
and
with
then we're
Evan
going to
later.
feed Text Enhance.
I'm going to ask him
with,
why it wasn't
some info that
standing anywhere
it can
near
include
people.
in the text that it generates.
all right.
Some,
And Brent,
couple
you got a
attributes
show
that
with
it's
them?
versatile and high quality. Okay,
I've
now
got
let's
one
go
Play
to
in a
Text
few good
Enhance
minutes
and
with
ask it
him
to
and
generate
a
text.
little later today.
It
So you
generates
each
something
have
quite
something.
different. Text that's
I'll just
appropriate
watch your
for a
show.
sales
I'll listen
description,
to what you got to
including
say about the
relevant
discussion,
information
Brian, and I'll
for the
watch
sales
a
description
few good minutes.
in this field.
I'm
so it
home.
uses
I'm
minimum quantity,
happy.
maximum quantity for buying. That's not important in your purchase description. So what we've done is we've
Semi-retirement.
taken this great
Works.
generative AI capability and
One, I
contextualized
mean,
it
for
within
companies that have
NetSuite.
more than one
We have
conference,
configured
I go to
NetSuite
one
so
of
that
them
the
a
sales
year.
description
That's
field
it.
knows where to pull the data from. And the purchase description
This
knows
is my
to pull
seventh
it
trip
from
to
other
Vegas
places.
in
But
8
this is
weeks.
the really cool part. You're going to
I've-
be able to control that. You're going to be able to
I've probably
say,
gone to
for your
7,
company
8
in the sales
conferences the
description,
whole year.
you want to consider these other things. You're going to actually be able to manipulate the prompts with which we generate the text. It's going to give you
That's
an
all I want.
incredible amount of power.
Next year, less.
Gary and team are going to dive more into this
More
and
is
other
less?
aspects of AI tomorrow. And you can get a closer look at this by
That's
visiting
right.
AI Central. All right, so when we think about AI, we're at Oracle, and we're working with our Oracle colleagues to build a comprehensive AI platform. The Oracle Cloud includes unique AI infrastructure. It's based on supercluster technology. Doesn't that sound cool? But you don't really even actually need to know anything about that, except that it's leveraging the fastest hardware to run more workload at less cost. And we, of course, will pass on that savings to you. It's using industry-leading
Straight outta
technology to
Oracle.
run large language models, partnering with leading companies like Cohere. And then Oracle's autonomous database has powerful AI capabilities built in addition to actually being run by AI. And Oracle's application development platform includes services such as natural
That's
language
kind of like
processing.
the secret
And
sauce
Oracle
behind
always
NetSuite now is
provides
all the stuff that
industry-leading
they get
security that you can
because
trust
Oracle
with your data.
lays that groundwork.
And the good
To
news for you
Brian's
is
point.
as you use more of the suite, you're going to get more powerful AI, because AI is only as good as the data that you feed to it. And the best data is data from a complete suite. With NetSuite, your data is centralized, up to date, accurate, on demand. You can use that to train these models. And thanks to the suite, the AI capabilities work on the complete picture of your business. Advice is based on info from all parts of your organization. It's like an all-knowing assistant who misses nothing and takes everything into consideration. I'm sure you know somebody like that. So it's going to consider what's happening in sales and how it's going to affect what to do in finance. It's going to consider what's happening in production to think about what you may need to do in HR. And watch out, the AI is probably going to be your account manager asking you to implement more of the suite.
Customers are in
now,
place.
we're going to demonstrate a vision of how this can come to life. To do this, we're going to return to something we utilized, and we utilized last year to show the key components
why would the guardrails effectively be any
value streams.
lesser
it's about
than
acquiring and growing customers,
a larger company?
Creating and delivering your products and services. I'm hoping by like 5 SuiteWorlds from now, you will have this all memorized. Hiring and empowering your employees and optimizing cash and profits. And our vision is to put AI everywhere in these value streams. Now, everything I've shown up to now is available or is imminent.
That's a good point, although at the same time,
instead, what I'm going to show
that's
here
where that becomes a general point
and
is,
you're going to see it
human intervention is going to, one way or the other, human intervention is necessary in all of this and always will be. I don't see where it's not. No matter
a large team working on these
if there's a large team at the higher level of the bigger enterprises, or little to no team at the lower level, ultimately, and I know it's the trope, it's a meme, it's a cliche, but it's not AI, it's how you use it, right? So
unfortunately, trend down.
It's always going to me, it always ends up that way. It's
Today,
like
when Finley logs in, NetSuite advises her that they are now projected to miss the full year 23 sales goal.
I have concerns about AI generally. I always have. At the same time,
NetSuite is always analyzing all of Wyra's data and operations and has a recommendation for what to do.
Humans got to be there.
It looks like
and if
little
smaller companies
on the latest bike model would entice customers
I get your
to
point.
buy
At
more.
the same time, they just have to be aware of the limitation, and
Finley wants to see what happens
if they want to
if
use
the
it, they're going to have to be
max
aware of the
discount is
limitations of what they're using,
When she
and then
asks,
figure out
NetSuite
how to deal
explains
with
that
it.
this would decrease
I don't know what
revenue
the
and
answer is,
negatively
but
impact profit, and then offers to simulate.
I don't
what that
find
would
that.
look like. When simulated, Finley can see the difference.
I don't see that
projected
that's the
revenue
reason for
the
them
two
not to
discount
use it. I just see
levels.
that's a reason to be
It's
more
clear
careful
that
about how they
40%
use it.
would result in much higher revenue, so she's ready to move forward. She clicks to increase the max discount to 40%. And now that there's an updated discount, NetSuite suggests launching a sales campaign to promote it. Finley clicks to notify Amita, the sales rep.
All right, now we're going to take a look at how NetSuite's AI capabilities work in sales and marketing to help acquire and grow customers.
Amita is working away when she receives the notification that Finley has requested a sales campaign to promote an updated discount. She sees the urgency and clicks the alert to see what NetSuite has come up with. NetSuite has already pulled together the various elements of the sales campaign. Amita immediately notices that NetSuite projects an increase in sales of over $350,000 with this effort, which is great. Amita also wants to see what the yearly impact will be for this campaign, so she asks NetSuite and it adds the projected end-of-year sales attainment KPI. For the target segments, Amita likes what she sees. NetSuite has eliminated the need for her to guess at which segments to target, a task that would have taken her hours to prepare and been less effective. This isn't just AI creating some recommended text, it's a full-service sales campaign assistant. The top recommended segment is previous bike basic purchasers. They would be perfect for an upsell of the new bike premium. She drills in to take a closer look at that segment. She sees the details and that NetSuite has optimized the discount for the bike depending on the customer. She's curious what would happen if she sets the discount to be 40% for all customers. She unchecks the optimized discount box and sets the discount to 40%. NetSuite updates the projection and advises Amita that this discount is unlikely to result in more orders. Instead, it only lowers the projected sales and profit numbers. She decides to optimize the discount. Finally, Amita wants to see what NetSuite has come up with for the email template for this segment, so she clicks to edit. NetSuite has intelligently drafted a beautiful campaign email. From prior emails, NetSuite has learned what results in the most engagement and sales, from the language to the promoted accessories. It incorporates Wyra brand assets and tone, current email design trends, and more. Plus, each sales rep can always further customize it if they like. Amita wants to customize the message a bit, so she asks NetSuite to add an opening sentence thanking the customer for their loyalty. NetSuite uses generative AI to suggest some great content.
Welcome,
Now the email
PJ.
preview looks fantastic. This has saved Wyra's sales rep many hours of effort.
Looks like you found a quiet
Amita
place.
loves how NetSuite has assisted with preparing
Yes,
the sales
basically,
campaign and is ready to get her
I'm
sales
in
team
this
started. She
place where
notifies
we are going
Finley
to
and
have
the
a
sales
press
team,
and conference
and now,
soon.
let's
I mean,
launch.
presentation.
We've seen how so far.
So at
how
the moment,
Wyra
there is
has
nobody, just like
experienced
some
AI
guys
that
setting up the
advises
stage.
and assists identifying possibilities in the
What,
data.
what do you think so
predicting
far of this keynote?
outcomes
PJ?
and suggesting actions.
Well, it's
Now
definitely
time
good
to get on
storytelling,
with
and
execution.
even last
Time to
year
turn to creating
I
and
liked
delivering your products
it's
and
a sort of
services that you need
continuation
to
of,
grow your
of the last year,
revenue.
because
Now,
last year
Cameron,
it was also
the
about
operations
foundation
manager,
and growth.
learned about the
There was
campaign
not
and
that
did
much about
everything to
these
do prepare.
quantum
But
leaps.
even with the
But
best plans, disruptions
last year they acquired
As he's
CPQ,
starting
they
his
acquired
day,
partner
NetSuite
Berenia,
highlights that a critical purchase
and
order
this
is
year
at
they
risk of
acquired
being delayed due
a
to weather.
partner for field service
Cameron
management. So they
clicks
are
to go
really
to the
filling
rerouting system.
and
NetSuite has anticipated that a
filling
storm will
any
cause
white
road
spaces
blockages, disrupting delivery of
and
that
gaps.
purchase
And
order if
but
they
what
use
I
the original vendor.
heard
NetSuite has
from
simulated some
the
alternative
insiders
options
last
for
night, what
Cameron
they
to
are
consider.
really
By default,
gang ho
NetSuite
about
displays the
is
recommended
this
alternative, Vision Supply.
this
But
smart
Cameron can
generative
compare to the
AI,
original vendor as
this
well as to the lowest
text
cost and
advisor,
fastest alternative vendors.
because they think
He can
that
also
it's
see which
generative
orders
AI
and
that can
customers
learn
are
over
affected by
time,
the
and that
disruption.
the customers can sort
Cameron
of tweak
decides to
to
use
be
the
more
recommended
useful towards
alternative,
their own
Vision
cases,
Supplies.
instead of just
They're
getting like
slightly
some
more
generic
expensive than the
LLM
original
and
vendor,
trying to
but they can provide
make
the full
sense out of
quantity
that.
of items, and they will only be one
I have a
range
question for
rather than
all
10.
you guys.
He clicks to reroute orders
So
through this
for
alternative
years,
method.
up to
While
and
he waits
including
for the
this
new
very
purchase orders to
presentation,
arrive, he wants
I've been
to ensure
seeing
that the available
AI
inventory covers the
forecasting
most important customers and most
37%
profitable orders
rate
as
for
much as
this,
possible.
80% win rate for that.
NetSuite has learned how
Has-
Cameron
I have
loves to
never
organize
once
inventory
seen
allocation,
anybody
so it has
corroborate
already
the
created a recommendation that
forecast.
covers 85%
Never in any
of top
company
priority
anywhere
customers.
have I
He
seen someone
clicks to
said,
review the
"Well,
recommendation.
we
He
said
sees a simulation
37%."
of inventory
I'm obviously
allocation,
being very
a
specific
view
here,
of
but
the orders
we
that
said
are secure
37%.
and
It
will
was
be shipped
really
on time,
12.
as well as the
We
ones
said
that will be
80% win rate. It was
He asks
23,
NetSuite
or
to
it was
make sure
80, or it
in-stock
was,
inventory
I've never
is
seen
also
anyone.
allocated to
I mean, those are
customers that have
numbers
been
to me
affected by
until there's a
delays in the
result that
last 2 months.
indicates
He
it was
wants to
work.
ensure those
Actually,
customers aren't impacted
you know,
again.
you're making decisions off
NetSuite
these
rearranges
projected
the
numbers
orders and presents a new view
theoretically,
including those sales
and
orders.
I've never seen
Finally,
anybody who did
Cameron
the
wants to
follow up to
email
see
the
how
customers
accurate
with
these things
backordered
are.
items to
Has
inform them of the
has anybody
situation.
ever done them? And
So
B,
he asks
what level of
NetSuite to
accuracy
create an
have they
email for
had?
them.
I've never seen
Once
them
again,
ever.
NetSuite generates the email using the tone and
And I doubt
structure
you will.
that's standard for Wyra's customer
What these
service
utilities are is
communications.
really a giant
So
multivariate
NetSuite has
equation,
saved Cameron
and
time
it
by
comes up
making him
with
aware of the
a
disruption,
set of
giving him options and information
values for
needed
the different
to make an informed
variables, and it gives
decision,
you
and
results.
also
And
assisted with
you would have
customer
to
support.
run
It's
millions
explaining
or
its
billions of
insights,
other
predicting
combinations to see,
outcomes,
did it in
suggesting
fact actually get a
remediation,
better
and helping take
combination with
action.
some other
Now let's
elements.
switch to the HR area,
Hundreds.
hiring and
I
empowering
agree
your
with you. It is
employees.
a black
To
box.
capitalize
and
on sales
people
opportunities,
say
you
that
need
it's hard to
on-time delivery.
prove or
You need to
disprove the
receive,
value of
store, and fulfill
Well,
as
that's to
fast
me,
as
that's always
possible.
so
And
problematic,
AI
though.
is
I
here
mean,
to
and
help.
again,
Autonomously
I
building a profitable
forecasts like
staff
that,
schedule
companies rise
using
and fall
real-time
if they're
data
paying, if they're
across the
using
suite.
that
Let's
as
take a
a
look.
some sort of
From
foundational
the
data,
autonomous
you know,
scheduler
for them
overview,
to make a
Cameron can
decision
see
on.
the overall schedule and labor
And
cost
it
for
always
any
bothered
given
me
week.
that nobody's ever said,
NetSuite optimizes
well,
Wyra's
actually, we were
labor
pretty
cost
close. Now, I
percentage
do remember
by
years
combining
ago,
sales data with
Oracle had
employee
this product called
productivity,
Social
cost,
CRM,
and
where they
availability.
actually
It
had
looks like the
not that kind of
forecasted
data
rise in
exactly, but
sales
data
from
which
the
would
new
say,
campaign
use this
will increase
presentation,
the
which was
need for
more likely to
overtime
be
to keep up.
successful in this,
This pushes the
under
labor
these
cost
circumstances
above
and
the
in this
14%
because it's
target.
been successful in the past.
Plus,
It was
the
more
forecast shows that this
predictive
trend
than
is likely
prescriptive,
to
and
worsen for the foreseeable future.
and
NetSuite
they
recommends that you
found,
start hiring.
they actually did the
It also
research,
reminds
and they
Cameron
found that it was,
typically
you
takes
know,
4 weeks to get a new
modestly
employee in the
accurate
door.
or modestly
Cameron
effective,
agrees.
was
He
really
clicks
probably
to
more
go to the
wrong than
job
right,
posting
and they
assistant.
dropped the product.
NetSuite
Right?
has already
That was
generated
a
a
long
job
time ago. It was a
description,
good product
complete with key
generally. It had that, but that was a big flaw,
qualifications,
obviously.
and more.
Um,
It has filled
they were
in
the
the
only
posting
company I've
dates
ever seen
and
that actually
pre-selected
made
the
an
most
effort to
appropriate
see
job
how
words, along with an
realistic their
eye-catching wire
projections
image
were.
to make the post stand out from the rest.
This
What
functionality on the
Cameron
screen right
appreciates
now,
most is the
I've
hiring
probably seen
justification.
15 demos
NetSuite has
of
included
this
a
job
simulation of the
You know,
labor
Brian,
market
I was going to
that
say,
shows
hey,
new
I'm
hires'
seeing what they are
positive
demoing
impact
now
over
because you were
time.
telling us last
Cameron
night
knows
about,
his CFO
you
will
know,
love this.
job
A clear
descriptions and all
picture
that
of the
generative
ROI
AI.
of the new hire.
You know,
Cameron previews the job description and
uh,
selects Send
going
for
back to these
approval.
forecasts. I mean,
The
forecasts
posting will
are
be automatically
never
posted
accurate.
once the
All you
approval
can do
is
is
complete.
try to be
But NetSuite
as
doesn't
close
stop
as
helping
possible.
yet.
Now, I do
Cameron is then taken
follow
to the candidate talent pool
lots of
tab
supply chain
and is
guys
presented with a short
like
list of
Blue Yonder
candidates
or
that have
even
been matched
Oracle
by generative
supply
AI
chain
to the
and all that.
qualifications
So
outlined in the job description.
this
The
Corona
top 4
and all that
candidates are highlighted above for
has
easy
definitely
reference,
changed
so Cameron
the
can
way
hit the
people
ground running
need to
once
look,
the
because
requisition
previously you
is
would
approved.
forecast like 2
NetSuite
years
recommends
ahead from
emailing the
now
candidates
what
to
would happen,
confirm
and then
interest, and with just a few clicks,
something happens
emails are sent.
and all
Right,
that
so
falls
AI
away.
is
So
helping with
the
customer
trick is now to be,
targeting, sales campaigns,
you know, more agile
managing
and
supply chain
more
issues,
responsive,
but ensuring your
and that's why
organization
there
can
are those
meet all your
concepts like
goals.
demand sensing,
We're set up for growth,
so that you
but how is this going
quickly
to
see
impact
some
cash and
emerging
profits
trends,
in Parker
and
Chain's
you
finance
react very
organization?
quickly.
Let's take a look.
And there is
Our
where,
CFO, Parker,
you know, machine
got a
learning or
notification of
AI
an
can
upcoming
help
cash
you
risk, which brought him to
and
his
find
cash
some
overview.
trends and
Not
some
only can he
alerts
understand the
that
current
a
and
naked
projected
eye
cash
wouldn't see,
position,
and then you
but there
quickly
are also
react to that.
cash
So
updates
that is
from
the
across
game
the business, plus market news.
that these supply
Interest
chain
rates are
guys are
likely going up
playing,
again.
and even
Another
supply chain
reminder
folks,
to focus on managing cash
you know,
effectively.
and especially now
For the
since
projection, by December,
when you
the
have like some
intelligently
stable
projected numbers
items
look
that you
good.
keep selling them,
But
and
between now and then,
historically,
there's a cash risk in November.
you know,
Parker clicks to
historically
go
their
to the
demand
cash risk assistant.
has not been
NetSuite not
changing or
only
whatever. Then
identifies the
forecast can
risk,
be
it visualizes and
historical
explains what's
forecast
causing
can
it.
be quite
It walks through the
you know,
events in
accurate.
the
But
coming
what do you do
weeks
with
that lead up
so-called
to the
long
cash
tail
position
items
worsening,
when
and it uses contextual AI
you
to
have very
explain what's
lumpy
happening
demand,
at
you
every
sell
step of the
bonds
way.
in a blue moon, and
As the
who knows
visuals
where, and then you
unfold,
need to
Parker
forecast
sees how the
those.
sales campaign
That's where
results in a
AI
spike of
can
demand,
help you
lots
and
of new
come up
sales,
with
but the
something
customers
closer
won't start paying until a few
than you
weeks from
trying
now.
to make
And
sense as a
to
human.
deliver the sales orders on
I guess if
time,
you
they're
sort of
using
treat it
vendors that charge more, and
literally,
they're paying
meaning,
overtime and hiring.
you know, you give it
All
a
of
lot
which
of
is putting
gray
pressure on the
around it.
available cash
They'll give you some
balance that week
parameters
in
to work
November.
with and leave it at that.
After seeing that unfold,
Yeah,
Parker's
but surely
confident
you're
he
never
understands
going
the
to be
issue.
100%.
And again,
Well, I don't
NetSuite is
expect that,
there
but
so you
I've
know
never
what to
seen
do
anybody
next.
even try to
Behind the
verify
scenes,
it at
it has
all.
already
That's what I'm
identified,
saying.
analyzed,
The
and
only instance I've
simulated
ever
potential
seen about a
options,
company
and is now
trying to
recommending
verify its
2
own
ways to
technology
optimize
was
cash,
Oracle
right
around
here
the
in
social CRM
Context.
product, which is like
It looks like they could pay one
2008,
of the vendors
I
at
think,
60
or
days instead of
7,
30.
something
Well,
like
Or
that.
they could use
social
NetSuite Capital
CRM.
to sell $25K
I mean,
worth
I
of
attended,
receivables.
and you were at Oracle Cloud
But,
World, and
of
I
course, Parker
focused
doesn't
mostly
want to
on
make a
supply
blind
chain. So I
decision.
went
He
there,
wants
and
to understand the impact
there
of
were some
taking this
customers
action.
that were
So he clicks to simulate the
presenting on
impact of
some
paying the vendor
improvements
at
and all
60
that
days instead of
using
30.
AI in
The
forecasting.
projection
So
adjusts to reveal
you know,
what the cash
I don't
position
think you
would look
follow
like
that
if
because you
Wire
went
took
to the
this
CX
recommendation.
area
And yes, changing the
and all that.
payment date would
So
mitigate the cash risk at minimal
there are some
cost.
success stories, but
Parker is in.
again,
He clicks
it
to
is
implement.
really tricky, and
Immediately,
any kind of
automatically, NetSuite
improvements is
updates the
something,
payment date for that
you know.
vendor bill. And just like that,
Fair
the
enough.
problem solved.
You know.
Back at the
But
cash
social
overview,
CRM,
Parker can see the happy
Well, that
result
was
of
years
this
ago. I
action,
mean,
a
that's
healthy
not
cash
even
position
that's a
for the
term that
future.
all all of us in the CX universe basically
flash
say it doesn't
forward to early
exist
December.
anymore.
Yes,
It's
And
just
Finley is sitting
it's
down
just
for breakfast
CRM.
every day.
It's
Then
just
it was
CRM.
sexy to
Opens
call
NetSuite
it
and
social, but
immediately
basically
sees that
now
thanks to
these
the
would be more
amazing
like a
efforts of her
signals
entire
from
organization, Wire
a
has
social
just hit
media
their sales
about
goal for the
some
year
product
and is
trends
on
or
track
whether
to end the year
people want
at
it or whether
7%
people
above
hate
their
it.
sales
I
goal.
mean, so all
All right,
that
so
can be
Finley
included
loves
into your
NetSuite, not only because it
demand and
advises
sensing.
with insights, identifying risk,
Yeah.
and recommending actions,
Absolutely
but
right.
also assisted
Mhm.
in carrying those out with automation. And with NetSuite, Finley can do more strategizing and less worrying. So that's our vision. Do you like this vision?
Okay, it's going to go
All
crazy
right.
again.
I think
I
it's time for the show here, guys.
personally love this vision. This is what I've dreamed of in NetSuite for years. A beautiful UI that's purpose-built, easy to use, and has intelligent assistants built in. So that's what the beginning of NetSuite's next 25 years are going to look like. Now, many of the capabilities that we've shown you, and really, the technology exists now for us to do that. It's so fantastic. We've got hundreds of people working on it. It's going to be amazing. These capabilities, a lot of them are going to be brought to life by our new partner, Cohere. Cohere is the leading AI platform for enterprises. Its business is growing fast. It launched in 2019. It already has 200 employees and over $450 million in funding. Now, Cohere decided to suite up to keep pace with all this growth. Let's hear more about Cohere and then hear directly from them.
Founded
And
by Google brain
of course, we heard about Cohere
and
at
co-author of the
Oracle
seminal
Cloud World already.
Transformer
So
research
Yeah,
paper.
I think we also heard
Cohere
about it
is
at
the leading
Dreamforce.
AI platform for enterprise.
yes, they are
The
one of the
company's mission is
partners.
to
They're like
transform
the
businesses
open
and their
AI
products
alternative.
through AI
Yeah.
by unlocking
Yeah,
a more
but it
intuitive
appears
way
that
to generate,
Oracle
search,
is
and
betting,
summarize information than ever before.
you know, its farm or whatever on this partnership with
Please
Cohere.
join us in welcoming to the stage.
I mean, when it comes to
Martin
generative
Conn,
AI.
President and COO of Cohere.
Thank you so much, Martin. I am so excited to talk to you. You're at the center of this AI revolution.
Wow,
But let's
cheers.
start with a little bit of
You can
history.
tell
So
that body
every company
language
has an origin
is he's
story.
only 10
We
feet
had a
away instead
5-minute
of
phone
30.
call, Larry and I, about 25 years ago. Can you tell us about Cohere's founding story?
Yes, well, I didn't found it. I started earlier this year. I was previously the CFO of YouTube before. But
wow.
Aidan Gomez, our CEO and co-founder, as the voiceover said, was one of the co-authors of the attention paper that invented the transformer, which is the T in GPT. It powers Evan GPT as an example. I'll address that hallucination issue in a second.
I'm filing a bug.
And he realized how incredible this technology was within Google. It took over all of Google. I started there in 2019. I saw the same thing: search, YouTube content recommendations, Verily, Assistant, you name it. It was just rolling out and just making every single product much, much better. But it was doing nothing outside Google. And so the co-founders said that they wanted to go and create a company, Cohere, to bring this incredible, I would say, generational technology to every developer, to every enterprise, so that they could build incredible products with it. So that was the start 4 years ago. When I got to know the co-founders, I realized this is once every 30-year complete transformation in terms of how humans and computers interact. And I wanted to be part of it.
Fantastic. Well, we're excited about some of the immediate benefits that our partnership is going to bring. We saw it on the screen a bit ago. But what are the other benefits you see coming for our mutual customers?
Well, as I said, I think 15 years ago, the iPhone came out. 30 years ago, the Mosaic browser came out. You mentioned cloud. In terms of the interaction between humans and computers, this is by far the biggest change, certainly since the smartphone, I would say since the Mosaic browser. And every customer, every employee will just demand to interact this way. Companies that are early with it will do well, just like in the late 90s, companies that were early with digital or early with cloud or early with mobile. Those who are lagging will see that they will have some problems. So the opportunities are absolutely immense in enterprise. Thus far, we've really seen a focus on consumer applications and writing poems about your parakeet or doing fun things. But the enterprise applications that you started to show are really incredible. So I think the productivity gains, the ability to reach new markets, the ability to tap into data, which is something that NetSuite obviously is built on and broader Oracle is built on. How do you enable employees and customers to access data and information very quickly, to get answers to questions, to generate insights, make better decisions, and ultimately have what we would term as being the impact on intellectual labor that the steam engine had on physical labor.
Wow, it's great. And so we're excited that Cohere is a NetSuite customer. So
Yes.
cool, thank you so much. And you're near the beginning of your growth journey, undoubtedly with tons of opportunity ahead of you. How do you see NetSuite playing into your growth journey?
We're very excited to be on NetSuite. We're just deploying it now. We are actually 250 employees now. We've grown 89% year to date. I came from Google. Our VP Finance, Laura, who's much more interesting to talk to than me, but she's expecting her third child in 2 weeks, so she couldn't come here. She's extremely excited to deploy NetSuite because we had a bit of a hodgepodge of a lot of different apps and services as we were growing from being a tiny startup to scaling. You mentioned we have raised $450 million. We need to make sure we're taking care of that. We're growing massively in terms of our customer base, and we are already in San Francisco, Toronto. We're opening an office in New York, London, with customers around the world. Far too complicated to do manually. So we're already excited about how the planning and budgeting, how we think about quickening our close, how we do an analytics and reporting, how not just our finance group, but the broader group can bring more data to make better decisions at the executive level. I've already seen a bunch of things that I'm sure our account rep will upsell us on, because we're going to start with the basics right now, but there's so many other things that we can add. And I think the ability to do that in a way that's joined up in a suite is very, very appealing. So we don't have to worry about, is it this vendor or that system? We can actually, NetSuite can grow with us. And so we're very excited about that.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to have you here because you're really seeing AI from the center of the revolution, as I said. And maybe we can look at AI from a wider lens. What do you see in the big picture how AI is going to work in business?
It's a great question. So I talked about the interface. I talked about how this is generational. Like, this is not just the next thing that comes on every couple of years. I think one of the things that's very exciting that I know we're working together with NetSuite on as a partner, as an innovation partner, and what some people maybe don't realize is that there are different species of language models. There are generative models, and that's generally what we think about. Things, generate text, summarize text, this conversational, very, very natural interface like we're doing right now. We just want to have that going forward.
So natural, doesn't it?
It's so natural. I mean, on a stage with thousands of my best friends.
We didn't even prepare questions. It's just like,
well, I thought you were going to put me on a trapeze after I saw that opening act.
Maybe next time.
But there's
make a note, Lane.
Another set of models called embeddings models, and they understand text. How do you understand semantic meaning? So, for example, if I say, what's the best falafel in town, there may be something that says Middle Eastern food. That's not the same word. Lexical search wouldn't find that. But the transformer and embeddings enables that to be found because it's semantically relevant. Now, when you tie those together, it becomes incredibly powerful. So on the generative side, our chief scientist previously built and led DeepMind's language team. On the embedding side, our head of embeddings created SBERT sentence transformers. That's the de facto standard in semantic search. With us, it works across 109 languages. And then there's something called retrieval augmented generation. That's very exciting. That was coined, and the lead author of the paper that developed this, Patrick Lewis, is now also with us.
Fantastic.
So think about being at Thanksgiving. Let's say, I assume you have a lot of Americans, maybe some Canadians, and you have your annoying uncle who knows everything. But you never really know if he's right.
Honey, I'm not that, am I?
And so he'll say something, and with equal conviction, whether he's right or wrong, equal conviction. So you don't know if he's right or wrong. That is what large language models, the generative type, are like Evan GPT would hallucinate. Now, what we do is through retrieval augmented generation is you tie the generative models and the embeddings models together. You enable the models to ground themselves in authoritative information from, for example, your very sensitive, very valuable NetSuite data. Retrieve the right information from there, semantically similar, and generate the response based on that, and then cite where it's from. And so you basically do a couple of things. One, you get around the hallucination issue, the misinformation issue.
I think that's their wrap-up
enable
music.
your conversational agent to have the most up-to-date information. What are our latest discounts? Well, if they changed yesterday, something that was trained 2 months ago isn't going to work. But also, most of the data you have very securely in your NetSuite or broader systems, you don't want to train a model with, even if it's your own model, because you don't want that in the weights of the model, but you still want to be able to retrieve from it. And so that combination of these generative models, the embeddings, allowing search, retrieval, and generation on very secure data environments is going to be a massive, massive unlock for productivity. And that's something we're very excited I think NetSuite is the perfect platform to do that on behalf of your 30,000 plus customers, and we're looking forward to being the dog fooder for that together with you.
Absolutely. And
Dog fooder.
so AI news is everywhere.
There's a
You
sound bite.
can't
We
miss
want
it
to be the
everywhere you
dog
look.
food.
Right.
And you've done a little bit about this, but maybe you can tell us some of the directions in AI that you see that people are maybe not reading about.
I think the embeddings one is one. I mean, it's logical, but it's not like, people making up fake news stories or, writing poetry or something. But it's going to unlock a huge amount of value in allowing search across an enormous corpus of internal information that you would never let out of your environment. I think that's something where Oracle and NetSuite and Cohere really share common values, which is data security, data privacy. So we are independent. We're not beholden to any large tech company whose primary focus is their own products. We are cloud agnostic. We're on OCI, but if there's a multi-cloud environment that someone needs to operate
Finally,
in,
a nice shot with a little
at the
movement
core,
in it.
we can do that as well, all the way to
Right at the
on-prem.
end.
And we deploy privately with OCI in the data environment of the customer. So your data, your financial data, your HR data will never ever leave your environment, but your employees or your customers can still have the benefit of being able to access that and generate responses or generate insights based on that data and information, which really is at the heart of NetSuite as a proposition. So I think those ideas of data privacy, private deployment, independence, search in addition to generation, and retrieval augmented generation are some of the key unlocks I think we'll see in 2024 as these kind of things start to now go into production. I think the other element here, which again is why all of you benefiting from what Evan and his team are going to build into NetSuite, is total cost of ownership. We heard some of that already, TCO. A lot of these models hit through APIs or big models deployed will cost an enormous amount of compute to deploy. No one's thinking about that now. Oracle, NetSuite do think about that. You talked about your foundational platform and being very modern, being on the latest technology, being the superclusters, which we do know what that means.
I have to hear this stuff from Larry all the time, believe me.
Yeah, and we are a big fan of the superclusters, very, very much so. But that's going to be very important because if something costs 10 times as much to deploy, it might be nice in a lab environment. It's not going to be good at scale. And so I think really shifting to what's this going to look like in production as part of NetSuite or maybe building on top is something that I think more and more we'll hear about as we go into next year and real deployments start happening.
All right. Martin, I'm going to take a leap here and say that maybe you were around and saw the last huge revolution 25 years ago when NetSuite was founded, when Google was founded, the internet became what it is today. Now we seem to have another revolution that may be similarly momentous. But what are some of the parallels you see with back then and maybe some of the differences?
Yes, unfortunately, I am old enough to remember that. Thank you for...
Sorry for divulging that PII.
Maybe there's going to be some kind of solution for the male greatness of the beard as well.
Greatness, we'll get that one also.
I do really enjoy history because I think history repeats itself in good ways and sometimes bad ways, but we want to learn from that. I think in this case, if you look at, for example, the digital revolution or cloud, I think there were some companies that spent a lot of time, enterprises spent a lot of time analyzing, and I'm a reform consultant, maybe hiring consultants and prioritizing what to do first and not really moving. And others that said, let's just start and do things, even if it's not necessarily going to change our entire business tomorrow morning. But we need to get experience by actually deploying. So I think the way, Evan, that you and your team are doing this is exactly what we think companies should do now and what we saw companies do back in the late 90s and let's say late 2000s with mobile. Pick something, start with it. I think we may even have a demo tomorrow that we've developed together, NetSuite Expert. And it enables a conversational interface just with the FAQs and how-tos in NetSuite. So how do I do this better? What's the best way to do these things? And it's retrieving from those not extremely sensitive data sources, first of all, and say, wow, that's a really great way to know how to move around and have an expert helping me with NetSuite. The next step, once we figure out how to do that together, is the assistant, where it now goes into your sensitive data and pulls out finance data, HR data, generates your top 10 accounts that haven't seen a salesperson in the last 6 months that happen to be on the way to Baltimore because you're going there soon, or whatever it might be. And then the third phase actually.
This is running a little long here.
The models we teach them to
Yeah,
take
I think
action,
they were supposed to end
actually
about
go and
10:30.
and use the
Well, it's
NetSuite
not only that, he's
functionality
running
as
a
an
little
intelligent
long
agent.
in
And those
general.
are three pretty exciting steps, let's say, in
I mean, he's a
in the
nice
journey.
guy, but
But starting with something that you do now at scale in production, learning how to do this in your own data environment, plugging into your systems and so on to actually get something going. That is where I think it's going to separate the winners from the losers. And I think we saw the same thing in cloud. You obviously were a pioneer.
Right.
Some of your companies,
bias to action, definitely. We had
some
a
of your
strong
customers,
bias
NetSuite,
to action.
first to the crowd.
adopted NetLedger and NetSuite, and you showed the stats of where they were growing faster than the competition. That's a good example of people on the right side of it back then, and I think we'll see the same thing now.
Fantastic. This is so great. It's so exciting to talk to you. You're at the center of everything that's happening. We are so excited about our partnership, and we're going to have great things to come. Thank you so much, Martin. That is so great.
Thanks, everyone.
Martin from Cohere. Fantastic. Phenomenal. So we're so excited about where AI is going, where NetSuite is going with it, with Cohere, and where we're taking NetSuite for the next 25 years. But one more thing. You thought the excitement was over. We have one more sweet deal. Well, it's more of an opportunity. So when you exit the keynote and you go onto the Excel floor, you're going to see what maybe is the craziest thing we've done in 25 years. It's Suite Cash Dash. Now, this is not your typical Vegas slideshow. It's packed with crazy deals. We have a screw loose. We're non-compos mentis. We're cuckoo. I mean, what are we doing? We're one sandwich short of a picnic. I hope you people from the UK appreciate that. Enter the Cash
I hope you
Dash.
people
You have an
under
opportunity to grab
50
an array of deals. You could get 50% off LCS. Get this, you could buy 5 users and get 2 free. I mean, what is wrong with us? Something is just not, we're like one oar in the water. All right, this is the 25th anniversary, so you could get 25% off all kinds of things like NetSuite Analytics Warehouse. What will your deal be? Wait, there's more. Each day,
I don't
we
think
have
I've ever
4
seen this
golden tickets for
well,
big ticket
I
prizes.
wasn't gonna say
It's
CEO,
crazy. It's insane. There's only one of these
a founder of a
available
company,
each
like,
day, but they are crazy,
fists.
insane deals. Please go out there. Look at this. There's cash everywhere. Get your money. Sweet Cash Dash. Wow, this is just, I mean, how can we top this? I don't know. We'll try.
What are people holding up?
Sweet Cash Dash. Fantastic. Okay.
Cash.
Woo. All right. We go back one, please. Sorry. Okay, so that's great. Sweet Cash Dash. Well, that's all the craziness we can handle. Now, there's lots of normal ways to sweet up this week. And so to tell you about that, we're going to give Evan GPT one more shot. Evan GPT, please share the list of ways to sweet up.
Stop by the demo grounds to see all these products in action and AI Central to see text enhance and meet AI experts. We have breakout sessions covering everything we discussed today. If you're here in Vegas, scan that QR code or log into your mobile app to see them. If you're joining on air, they're listed on the homepage. Visit the Learning Lab to meet with our customer success team, suite gurus, and education advisors. You can also sign up for inspection and attend live training sessions.
All right, great. Well, we fixed the bug. Seem to finally get it right. Okay, before I go, I want to thank all of you for allowing us to be part of your growth journey over the last 25 years, and we're so looking forward to the next 25 years. SuiteWorld is all about celebrating you. So please enjoy the surprises, learn a lot, and have an incredible SuiteWorld. Thank you so much.
All right.
Woo. All right.
All right.
Wow. Well, it's getting a bit louder here.
All right. So, PJ, just because you're in the most vulnerable area, why don't you give us your take on the whole thing?
If you need to do any mic checks.
Well, I think that in this mid-market, Cloud ERP NetSuite is going to be one vendor to beat.
Great.
The other one will be, of course, Microsoft Dynamics, and whatever NetSuite is doing here is sort of, I wouldn't say trying to catch up or to try to be abreast, or maybe try in some instances to be even ahead of Microsoft Dynamics. But I think it's going to be interesting to watch what they are doing, because the entire summer we kept hearing about these co-pilots and whatever else from coming from Microsoft, and of course generative AI and all that. So, these things. One thing that I noticed that caught my attention, which I think is interesting, is these benchmarks that I keep talking, and they seem to be excited about that. And it's sort of like offering data as a service to customers and companies. And I've seen that with Epicor. Oh boy, for the automotive industry.
We can still hear you really well, though.
Yeah, you're good.
You can hear well. Okay, but probably you can hear also the guy who is testing the mics and whatever else. So it's too bad that I didn't join earlier when Brian was. So I don't know what Brian was talking about, especially given that he's a financial expert. But I think what NetSuite is offering for the global financials for the mid-market, that is really like a first class. I'm not sure if even the Dynamics former Exapta has those kinds of capabilities.
I know this from my standpoint. Again, it's not my world particularly, but at the same time, I've known NetSuite since 2004, and very well actually.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, they've always been best in class when it comes to the mid-market. And I think, to your point, at least judging from what I saw and judging for the fact that they're extremely well aligned with where the market's going, and to Brian's point earlier, they have Oracle, R&D and assets and capabilities backing them up. I absolutely agree with you. They're the one to beat. That said, the actual event, the production of the event was pretty terrible, but it was. There were a lot of. Let's say this: Evan was fine and dandy, but I would, if I were them, I would have run the actual stage thing differently. And I'll leave it at that, just in the interest of time. But from the standpoint of everything they've announced, they're about as complete as you're going to see. And also, the thing they've always had was extremely well-engineered products. So with, Oracle being there for them for the last, 5 years, is it? Was it 20? When did they get acquired? 2018?
A little longer than that.
2016. 2016. So, okay, 7 years?
Yeah.
So for 7 years, helping them improve, it's incredible. So, again, without having any deep knowledge of the actual needs of financials or HR particularly, I can't see anything even, again, without knowing everything in the market, I can't see anything close.
That this year during the keynote, there was not much talk about Suite Commerce and Omnichannel and Evan Goldberg's wife coming and ordering some clothes and demoing that kind of stuff. So
back to
I'm sure it is still there, the retail stuff. And,
I agree.
And all that. Somehow, I guess generative AI had to take a lot of space from some other good things. Okay, I'm here. They are getting ready for this. Good luck.
Right, thank you.
Good luck to Brent trying to come back to this place, and especially given that the elevator in our hotel doesn't work. And this morning I had to come downstairs by using stairs.
It's the worst elevator setup I've ever been in. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
this is the Venetian.
It's crazy.
No, we're at the Nobu.
Nobu.
You're oh my God! I thought you were the Venetian.
Given that you are on Twitter or whatever else, tweet about your unhappiness with the elevators in Nobu Hotel.
Okay, never been.
Okay,
there. All right, man. Thank you.
you.
Thank you so much, Brent. So, what about your take on it?
So I kind of agree with your take in terms of the actual, like the way the the thing was formatted and filmed and shot. It was jarring. I mean, those cuts were just woo. But besides that, you know, I like Evan. I like how he's very personable and you know, informal while he's presenting all this stuff, which I think is really helpful. You know, the interviews I think were good. They try to intersperse the customer voice in there. I like the end with the Cohere guy, but I think you're right. Probably could have been a little more punchier in terms of, you know,
well, he was fairly technical.
Yeah, it's fair, but he's like the president and COO, which is really interesting.
I mean, again, the thing he had going for him is extremely nice guy. You could tell that right away. Very good guy.
And Cohere is like kind of like the it company in the enterprise right now. When you talk about how Dreamforce, they were spotlighted as, you know, for the partnership with Salesforce, and Oracle did the same. And of course, it makes a lot of sense that, you know, they're doing it here at NetSuite or SuiteWorld. But, you know, that just kind of reinforces like what Brian was saying, like all the things that Oracle has kind of put in place. NetSuite is like a direct beneficiary of. And you can see it coming together in the platform and how they're filling in the gaps, and they're able to, you know, take the foundation that Oracle is setting, you know, the user interface and with the relationships with a company like Cohere, how they just have a great pipeline to take advantage of all that, and they're doing it. I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, and actually, to your point, the one thing I can definitely speak to over the years is they went, if you go back all the way, even up through close to actually even to the acquisition itself, even though they were first to the cloud, they were always a solution in the cloud. They were not a platform, right? And now they've evolved fully to a platform as well as have the solutions that they need. But they're a full-fledged platform now, and you know, again, I think Oracle had a lot to do with that actually become, at least they always had the idea to become one, but to make them a mature platform. And I think Oracle has done that, helped them do that really effectively. And I think we saw that today, because the story was one of a platform and an ecosystem. And that's an important story for a company that's serving the mid-market. We'll see how it all plays out. But I imagine Brian thinks the same, but I think we all agree that ultimately in the mid-market, when it comes to, I'll call it the back office particularly, they're the ones to beat by a fair amount, really. They're I think they're well ahead of, I know Microsoft Dynamics ERP, not too fairly well is what I'm trying to say. And, you know, it's still, I mean, I hate to put it this way because I don't really mean it exactly this way. It's still Great Plains based, right? So, you know, so it's I think NetSuite's considerably better. And again, not my world. So,
yeah, you know, but the thing that really, you know, sitting here thinking about this, all the acquisitions that Oracle has made over the years, I mean, they bought so many companies.
Yep.
But NetSuite stands apart because they let them still be NetSuite.
Yep.
And it seems to have really paid off. I'm just wondering why they let NetSuite be NetSuite, and, you know, everything else kind of got acquired and consumed to a certain extent.
Maybe because Larry and Zach were great best buddies. It's very possible that was even part of the, I don't know, maybe part of the acquisition.
I think it was a great thing that Oracle let that happen. And
oh, absolutely. Oracle, the value is, I mean, NetSuite had a very strong brand when they got acquired.
Right.
You know, and it was
but I mean, so did the other companies that they bought too.
Yeah, but I mean, NetSuite kind of
I mean, PeopleSoft.
Well, PeopleSoft stayed around for a while, as did Siebel,
Yeah,
but ultimately Oracle took all that and incorporated it into Fusion products,
Yeah,
basically.
Eloquent too was one of
Yeah.
those that got incorporated.
Yeah.
That's
But
ton
I think they all served the same market, where NetSuite served a market Oracle didn't have any real strength in. Their Oracle mid-market was pretty pathetic until they acquired NetSuite. I remember it because I used to try to cover it, and they had about 20 different mid-market attempts. It's not 20, but it was a lot of them. Mid-market attempts. They had a product even called, for a short while, Oracle Mid-Market.
Mm.
And it didn't work, right? So I think, to your point, it was extremely wise of them to just let NetSuite have that market and then build accordingly, because they still own NetSuite and they still benefit from it on the books and overall. Yeah.
We definitely had a.
Yeah. Right about that, Paul.
That's true, but still, even though he had a controlling share, when he bought the whole thing back, traditionally Oracle acquires something and that brand kind of goes away to a certain extent. But
I think the other thing in terms of PeopleSoft, and especially, that was a hostile takeover.
Yeah.
The PeopleSoft takeover was a hostile takeover. And again, Oracle competed in the markets that Siebel and PeopleSoft were in directly. I mean, that was their literal direct. They acquired their direct competitors in that market, the two best in that market, actually. That's true. Well, actually, Zach bought one of Larry's used Brentley's. I actually know the price and attended one or two of those parties as an analyst. And Brent, you did too, if you remember.
Yeah,
the ones Paul was talking about there. Yeah, we were at that house. I remember we couldn't spill anything on the rugs because they were like, each one of them was probably worth $500,000.
And that was just like a side house. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah,
like...
that was his second house. He had two different parties at two different houses. His first house had a full-fledged security force, not just a couple of security people, a security force on premises. But that Bentley was acquired by Zach for a price that I would be willing to spend to acquire a car. That's how little it was.
Yeah, I think we did have to wear booties, but
yeah. So Paul might have been there himself.
Anyway, so interesting. Like I said, the actual presentation, and not in terms of Zach, but in terms of the way the cameras brought it to us, left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, I mean, for everything from the jarring jumps to the constant, until the end they got a little better, but at first it was just Evan walking back and forth in a tiny space.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering what's going on. I thought it was my bandwidth, but it was actually no, it was just those very treacherous jump cuts that this dude was making. And the other thing, if you look at how it was formatted for the virtual experience, you had Evan in this really small little box, and everything else was slides, and that didn't make well for you can't do a lot of video cutting when your subject is just this little box, because you're not able to really get good dramatic position changes.
Well, you remember during Dreamforce, the way they handled some of that was the dolly shots with Mark walking toward the camera. It was the dollies were moving back, things like that. That was the way to do it. I mean, you got action, you got interaction. I mean, well, Dreamforce was probably at this point the epitome of figuring out how to do that hybrid event this year.
Yeah. I would say
that them in Creatio too.
I would have to look at Adobe
Max.
Max. I haven't really looked at the keynote to see if maybe they came close to Dreamforce, but the ones I've seen so far, Dreamforce was the best at it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think purely virtual event, Creatio is my best for the year, but hybrid, definitely Dreamforce. I don't think anything even that I saw, at least, either by being there or virtually, was even close to Dreamforce.
All right. Well, I guess I better get ready to.
Yeah, that's right. You got to roll over. You know what I got to do? I got to just go back and kick back and do nothing, man. And not worry about elevators that don't work at Nobu. All right. So that means, by the way, everybody, don't stay at Nobu. Their elevators don't work.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I guess we're not doing the Playaz this week because I think I'll be on a plane.
Yeah. So there will be no CRM Playaz this week.
Well,
I'll just while you're on a plane, I'll be kicking back.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to apologize because I know there are a lot of people out there that really were expecting another fun-filled episode of Stump the Godfather, but we'll be back next week.
No, actually, we won't, because the week after. No, wait, no. Next week I'll be on a plane coming back from Ray. We got 2 straight weeks without the Playaz, unless we want to run a special episode, which I can do from CCE.
Look at Eric. Yeah, maybe.
Yes,
we'll figure it out. Are you flying home on Thursday?
I am. I'm flying home Thursday afternoon at 1, I think.
Oh well, yeah.
I think. And getting from Half Moon Bay to SFO is an all morning endeavor. Last time I wouldn't have made it because I couldn't get a ride if it weren't for the fact that a friend of mine saw me and said he's heading out towards San Francisco. He would drop me.
Yeah.
Other than that, I had no way out.
You can't get an Uber. I mean,
what I'm going to do, you know what? You can schedule an Uber now.
Oh, good.
I'll probably schedule the Uber on Monday.
Do it now.
Yeah, actually, maybe even so.
Schedule it now so you have it for next week.
Yep. Not a bad idea.
All right. Well, all right. So I have to apologize because maybe 2 straight weeks without Stumping. Jeez.
I know. Well, maybe I have 2 shows. There will be a Talking Headless and an EWPK from CCE. And our guest on EWPK will be the head of immersive experience, VP of immersive experiences for Lucasfilm, and maybe the chief metaverse officer for that world famed creative agency CAA. We'll see. I'm working on that. She just joined the panel. Me and Kenny are doing.
Oh,
so she asked to be on it. So we put her on, and then maybe I can get her to come to EWPK.
All righty. Well, everybody will have to stay tuned.
And Talking Headless will be a little different this week. I will have a guest because I'll be there, and I'll just grab somebody from a company. Right. So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
All right.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye.